Hey everyone, it's me, Doomlink, and welcome back to Doomlink's Live Hunts. We are once again in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, and there is a bird outside that is probably audible. Nothing unusual. Australian fauna interrupting Doomlink's recordings. Certainly not unusual. In fact, it would be unusual if that weren't happening. It is to be expected at this point. But yeah, we will be carrying on with the typical protocol, which is hunting random monsters. So I thought, remember when I went and searched for a room yesterday in, I guess, part 75 of the Live Hunt series, I was going on about how, there must be less players than 3 Ultimate if I'm only getting 3 rooms when searching. Well, I thought that I had removed my HR13 minimum search filter, but apparently I had reinstated that towards the end of the last time I was playing Generations Ultimate. I just had a memory of having removed that filter, but I guess it went back to whatever it was, or I had put it back to whatever that was. So basically, a minimum of HR13 is probably not a fair assessment of how many people are going to be playing. In other words, there could be people who are below HR13 playing, and that's probably quite probable. But anyway, it's a very interesting thought. You could either, there are 2 ways to look at it as far as who remains in the game once a new game comes out. Let's say, for instance, Monster Hunter Rise. Well, I say for instance, I mean that is really the best possible example and the only logical example given the game that I'm playing. But you could say that the community that remains could either be low-level people who still have a lot to do in this game, therefore they still play it, and for that reason all the high-level people who have played enough of this game want to move on to the next game. Or you could say the people who remain are high-level people who are enthusiasts and really like the game, so they continue to play it. So there are actually points for both sides, and what that would indicate to me is that you can get a healthy mix of high-ranked people and low-ranked people for those reasons. Just something that I randomly thought of. Nothing too exciting, but I had a feeling that that would be worth mentioning. Anyway, getting the chat ready. And, yeah. I think we should be all good to get moving. I don't know if I have Vernon joining me today. I've got no idea. Raging Brack Farm. Why do you want to farm him? Well, whatever. You've set the... I mean, imagine setting the HR minimum to 100 when there are probably, I would guess, between 30 and 40 people in the world playing this game right now. Like, this guy's got a little bit of a... I would say he has unrealistic expectations of this community as it is now. But I guess, having said that, there are... all the other rooms that have been hosted here are from people who are above Hunter Rank 100, so maybe I'm the one who's being unrealistic here, I don't know. We've got 2 Chinese rooms, we've got Silverwind Nagakuga, no fucking thank you, I may as well join this one. I'm just going down the list, choosing the first one that might be decent. What was I hunting last time to be using the heavy PS gun? I think it was Bloodbath G2, wasn't it? That wasn't very fun. I wasn't a fan of that quest. What was particularly annoying to me is that I think we failed it twice, didn't we? We didn't fail it once and then killed it on the second try. I think we actually failed it twice and then killed it on the, captured it technically on the 3rd attempt. Transmitting data, well, you're taking your sweet time. Come on. Well, I suppose my connection to this person isn't all that good. It is what it is. Can't always have perfect connection to everyone playing the game. This is the longest transmitting data I've had in a very long time in this game. I don't remember the last time it took this long. Obviously I failed to connect to this person, and the game is continuously trying to connect, even though it never will. Unable to connect to other consoles. That's definitely what it was. It was the game going out of its way to try, in vain, to connect me with that person, but it just wasn't going to happen, so... Any quest? Okay, we've got a person in this room named Lazy, Hunter Rank 999. I suppose you could say that people who play a lot of video games are lazy, typically. So maybe that's a good description of that person, I don't know. I'm just, you know, putting it out there. It's very strange. Thought the Hunt Rank 999 was in my slot, P2. Maybe it's displayed differently in the search system versus what's in the room, but I don't think that's true. I think usually whatever you see in the search system matches up with the actual lobby placement of people in relation to one another. In other words, I'm pretty sure the Hunt Rank 999 being in player 2 slot in the search should be the same in the lobby. But anyway, we've got a cat. It's a water cat, specifically. Emergency retrieval. I don't even know what half of these do, honestly. Like, I can guess what the far catster does, which is not funny. Like, that's not funny. To say far catster instead of far caster. Because it doesn't work. I mean, you actually have to change drastically how you say the word, so it doesn't work as a joke. It's not funny. I mean, it does visually look slightly similar, but it's not funny. In fact, I would say the cat puns are one of the biggest mistakes the translation team has ever done in the series. I don't know who started it. Who started it? Was it in... They weren't really doing it in 3rd gen, were they? So I guess it might have been a 4th gen thing. Might have been the translation team that did 4 Ultimate. And I don't know who did that. I don't know if it was the same group who did 3 Ultimate or not. It might have been, but the point is that it was just ridiculous. I couldn't get over the cat puns. Because the thing is, it's funny after a little... Well, at first it's funny. But then it just becomes absolutely asinine. And the reason why is because they commit to it too hard. Like, almost every sentence will have a cat pun. And the reason why is because every sentence in Japanese ends with nya. Which is fine in their language, because that's something that they can do creatively. They can have the sentence end with a cutesy word, you know. In that case, it's a cat noise, which is fine, but in English, that doesn't mean we have to suddenly start having cat puns in their speech. What you do is you have an occasional meow at the end of the fucking sentence. Now, if you think that's worse than cringy cat puns, then I don't really know what to tell you. And some people will say to me, oh, well, I love the cat puns. Well, I understand that there are all sorts of people out there in the world. Hello, Hossein. There are all sorts of people out there in the world, so I'm not going to question it too much. I guess I'll go blunt dual blade, seeing as though I'm hovering on that option. I guess it means I should be doing it. But yeah. See what we've got here. That's right, I'm saying let's see what we've got. For once I actually internalized what it was, but I was vocalizing the fact that I didn't know what it was. So I guess my subconscious thinks that my conscious doesn't know, but this time, my conscious does know, if you understand. This guy's name is Haha. Now, it's possible that this is a Chinese guy whose name is actually Haha. Okay, I could sit here and talk about how this guy is weird or stupid or whatever for naming his hunter Haha, because it's a nothing name, but it could actually be his name. He could be Chinese and his name's Haha. You know how there are some very, very, very strange Chinese names out there. So, this could be one of them. Haha. Mr. Haha. And I'm not going to think of a possible surname, because I wouldn't want someone to come after me for being racist. Because that's the thing. Oh, that's the sound of my phone. If you ever hear a stupid whistling sound, that is my phone giving me notifications. It's not the whistling sound that you guys would necessarily be familiar with, fortunately, because that's just really annoying. This one's a slightly less annoying whistling sound. It's one of the Xiaomi notification sounds. Speaking of Chinese and China, I've got a Chinese phone. And, yeah. In fact, I heard that Xiaomi was blacklisted by the US and was recently removed from the blacklist, or however you would want to say that. But anyway, point is that I do apologize. Oh, someone dug into the supply box. It's always funny when you enter the, like you go to the supply box and there are just no potions. Some dickhead has gone and taken 2 stacks because they lack so much confidence that they're willing to take some other guy's potions. I mean, okay, not that I need them, you know, I don't need them, and maybe he was banking on that fact. He might have seen 2 high-ranked people and decided, well, shit, I'm going to take the potions then, because you guys don't need them, and that's technically true, but it is a little bit inconsiderate. It's just not good teamwork behavior, you know. I wouldn't recommend that people assume in that way. It's just good manners to maybe not take it yourself. But anyway, I mean, maybe good manners doesn't matter to some people. In fact, it definitely doesn't matter to some people, I know that for a fact. Oh, hello. So the good thing about Bloodwind, I mean, oh, Bloodwind 2. Do I have Bloodwind 3? That could be another Hunter art that I can get. It's incredible. Now that I'm actually looking, there are a lot of Hunter arts that I still don't have at level 3. Interestingly enough. Which reminds me, I do have to do that quest for... Which art was it? There was... Wasn't Critical Juncture, was it? No, I think I have Critical Juncture 3. I think that was the one that I had. So as far as the other one that I was wanting to get, I can't really remember now. Well, whatever. Point is that there was another one, and I think I can remember which quest it was that I needed to do. Not by name, but if I were to look through the list, I'd be able to work it out. And then it can be a guessing game as to what Hunter art that's going to be. But anyway, it looks like Bloodwind might be another one to take care of. Because again, I guess I just never really noticed. I wasn't looking at that until recently. And now that I'm looking, there are quite a few actually that I don't have at level 3. And Bloodwind is one of those Hunter arts that I get a lot of use out of. What I was going to explain was that I find it to be really good for getting your weapon charge up. Because one of the issues with getting your weapon charge up relates to the fact that you are, I guess, expending stamina, and so mobility can be hampered as a result. Also, the attacks that you have while demonized are often slower. It's just how they balance it. So it can be, at certain times, in certain hunts, difficult to get your charge up with dual blades. But with Bloodwind, you don't really have to worry about lack of mobility, because the Hunter art itself does cover a lot of ground. And so you can just go into demonized mode, use Bloodwind, and generally get your charge all the way up without any difficulty. Sometimes you can have your Bloodwind interrupted before it can really do anything, but that can be mitigated by not playing like an idiot. And I say that with the understanding that that does happen to me sometimes, you know. I'm putting myself down, okay? I'm not having a go at you. If that happens to you, don't take it personally, because it happens to me as well. Hey, Exio. I'm getting a lot of Bloodwind charged up here. I'm not sure how everyone's doing. You're only the second person to speak so far, but yeah, it's actually been a rather quiet start to the live stream, but it's just as well that I'm a Let's Player, because I can crap on, I'll tell you what. Oh, there goes my phone again. Woohoo! It's a cuckoo clock sound, or I guess you would say a cuckoo sound. Yeah. As opposed to a cuckoo clock sound. The reason why I say that is because I don't know how well the mechanism in a cuckoo clock actually imitates the sound of a cuckoo bird. So, I mean, that sounds to me like the mechanism making that noise, but it could also be an actual cuckoo. I don't fucking know. Point is, it's a rather old art form by this point. Cuckoo clocks, I think, have been around since the late 1600s or so. But anyway, that's by the by. I might have to, you know, do this weird thing called silencing my phone. The reason why I don't like silencing my phone is because if I silence it, I'll never fucking unsilence it, because I couldn't be bothered. If there was one button press that would allow me to silence and unsilence, I'd do it, but having to go into my settings and do that every time. I mean, imagine having to go into my phone settings every time I go live here. I mean, who could be bothered to do that? Certainly not me. Oh, whoops. Of course, if you do have orange or red sharpness, you cannot demon dance with dual blades. So... what was the second thing? Oh god. Yeah, whatever. Okay. I was being distracted by my phone. And... the monster died in the meantime. Which was lovely. So that was a Hyper Kechawacha in the arena. I have done that at least 2 times on camera before, I think. But... yeah. Not a bad hunt. I'm still not entirely sure how I feel about even orange sharpness with bludgeoner. I don't think red is worthwhile at all. I think red is nothing. It's like no damage. I think it's actually... I think what it does is it acts as a damage reduction. So whatever damage you're doing is probably so heavily reduced by red sharpness that you never want to be at red sharpness with bludgeoner. It might look good in the status in terms of your end attack value, but I don't think it actually... I do have to look into that more. I absolutely have to look into that more, because in my experience, I've done almost no damage when, at least visually, I've done no damage when using bludgeoner in conjunction with red sharpness. So yeah, for a long time now I've always sharpened up from red, and sometimes even sharpening up from orange, because if you think about it, orange also has that broken blade effect, which might mean that there is a, I suppose a demerit, we could say. But anyway. Point is that, I don't quite know. You think orange is too? Yeah. I had to find out the hard way, because I did a few quests with the red sharpness with bludgeoner, thinking, oh yeah, look at my attack value, it's great. But I was able to see that the hunt was not reflecting the damage that I had in my status. Like, it was taking too long and I just didn't feel like I was contributing, so I put 2 and 2 together and realized that red sharpness is not good even with bludgeoner. So I'm thinking that the broken blade is your indication that you shouldn't be at that sharpness. So you want to be in green most of the time? Well, I think that my guess is that yellow is okay. Like, yellow is fine. But it seems that green is ideal, yeah. Another one? Are you stupid? You're stupid, aren't you? Enjoy your empty room. No one wants to do your quest twice in a row. Need help on Dvjo. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'd rather not do a Hyper Devil Joe anyway. Deviants, no thank you. Charm Farm. How about no? I'm surprised there's even a room for it, to be honest. The Sun. Also Wyverns. Yeah, okay. Also, welcome, Gunzolino. You people don't have any patience. Any semblance of patience, do you? Fuck me. Well, for all I know, they could have been sitting there for ages waiting for someone to join, but I don't think so. We've got a turns room. Oh, well, okay. Again, no patience, you people. Come on. Or maybe that was a room that was collapsing. Like, let's say, for example, 2 people would have left, and then there was space for me to join, but then the other 2 people left anyway. That's probably what happened there. Why had Fatalis I, except spelt with a V? Oh, it's actually short for event. Why had Fatalis event? We could do... Oh no, Edwin fucking joined the room, no way. I'm not doing that with Edwin. In fact, isn't that the ultimate irony? He kills the room by posting the same quest twice, and then he has to leave and find another room. Fucking dick. Anyway. I mean, who does that? No one wants to do the same quest twice in a row. Well, only if they want something as well. Or if they know you and want to help you personally. There are very specific conditions in which a person's willing to do the same quest twice, at least from what I can tell, and I certainly feel the same way. If I know the person and want to help them out, yeah, I'll do that, I don't mind. But if I'm just hunting for fun, it stops being fun when I do the same thing twice. And yeah, if you actually want something, then that's totally different, but... The land shark. Don't know why they're doing... Cephadrone. Oh dear. We're having another slow transmission of data. Come on. Again, past a certain point, you just have to give up and assume that you're not going to connect to them successfully. I'm having a hard time connecting to these Chinese people. Hello, slide in them DMs 96. And that's a lot of waving you're doing there. I mean, there could also be 7 of you. Each one of you waving, that's possible. Yeah, okay, it's not going to transmit. Can you stop? Seriously. That's what I hate. Clearly, it's not going to transmit successfully. So stop trying. Please. Yeah, I know. That's not a surprise. Anson? No, that couldn't be. The Anson, quantized Anson. He's an acquaintance of mine. Could be him, but I don't think so. I feel like he would have seen me around if he plays on the Generations Ultimate servers and we would know that we both play. But... no, I haven't. Should I ask him? No, I mean, Anson isn't necessarily that unique of a name. It's not something you see all the time, but... oh god, I have to do the Deviant stuff then, I suppose. Unless I want to change my minimum hunter rank filter. Well, thank you for the compliment. Claire Red. What deviant, pray tell, would you like to hunt? I'm warning you. Don't post a high rank one. If it's high rank, this isn't happening. This is barely happening as it is. And it's certainly not going to be happening if you... oh, there we go. Well, as long as you're not AFK. You're welcome to join DMs if I can get a decent room. Unless... yes, hi, post your quest. What the fuck? You need a written invitation? It's your room. You are welcome to join if you'd like to. I'll just see first if I even want to stay in this room. Really depends on what this... oh, a G1, that's a bad start. Oh, yeah. Yep. You are fucking... solo it. It's high rank. Recruiting. High rank turns? Why high rank specifically? Why not just turns and then people can post high rank? What the fuck? Anyway, I'm going to make a room. If you'd like to join... how am I supposed to refer to you? I mean, do I call you DMs? Do I call you slide? Maybe I'll call you in them. I'll call you in. How about in? That's your... point is, when you have silly names like that, it's hard for people to refer to you in any way. In any meaningful way, anyway. So, I'm going to name this room G rank, and then people can join as they like. HR minimum, we'll put it at 11. 11's okay. Apply range. Now, a lot of people set the HR minimum without applying the range, and they wonder why people beneath the minimum, or below the minimum, still join. It's quite funny. Well, yeah, I don't know. I just feel that if you've got people who also need dual task stuff, it's different. But if you're just making it like a deviant turns room, just so that you can have a group to help you with a high rank deviant, like, stop. To start with, no one wants to do your fucking high rank deviant. Second of all, you can solo it. You're Jazz Zach, okay. You are for... oh, hello. You've got the set, and we've got slowly as well. You want me to choose whatever quest I'd like. Okay, well, P3 can choose. Slowly is this person's name. Slowly. Yeah, well, don't slowly post a quest. I'd like you to post one soon. I've been fucking around for a little while trying to find some decent room. Well, it's a bit late, Jazz, to be going to the quest giver. You said choose anything you'd like. Well, what's your huntering, Gunzelina? Hyper Barioth. Again, I don't really fight Barioth very much in this game. For reasons that I seem to go into every time I fight a Barioth. Let's use Lance. I don't like using Lance against Barioth, but I'm doing it anyway. Because it's something a little different. 150 plus or something? Oh, are you one of those Nesset people who's gotten to rank 150 without making any sets? Well, you're welcome to join. If you're one of the Nesset players, you're not going to be sticking out. In other words, you're not going to be... how do I describe it? You're going to fit right in, we'll put it that way. There's plenty of people like that. In fact, we've got one in this room right now, as we speak. As we speak. Oh, you made the Kushala set? Well, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. Is it Kushala? No, it wouldn't be GX, would it? Oh, it could be Kushala GX. We're gonna find out. Oh, this isn't you, is it? No. I suppose what I'll do... look, Gunzelina, I don't know if I want to kick Tyler. I feel kind of bad for just kicking him. The reason why is because there's not many people playing right now. What I'll do is, if you're willing to wait, first time we've got a free slot, I will hold it open for you. But I don't like kicking people when there's almost no one playing. It feels a bit nasty. But, yeah, sorry about that. So I did eat, didn't I? No, I didn't. I'm glad I checked. Jazz seems to be quite eager to play. Quite eager. That's right, I was distracted from my eating by the guy who joined, yeah. Don't know why I started on that point. Hi, Mayan. Got a lot of people, well, not a lot of people appearing that I'm unfamiliar with. Two. Two is a lot, apparently. Usually, people who tune into the stream who are unknown to me don't talk. And they're just a number. Just a number. Alright, just wanted to check my emails, because, you know, sometimes I like to feel connected out there in the world, despite shutting myself away and streaming. Okay, so, Area 1 is our starting point. I do have Outdoorsman on this set, just because it was a skill that I could get on it. I think it's on my talisman or something. Yeah, I think it is. Trying to get in position for the wing there. If you could get out of the air, that'd be just delightful. Just delightful, honestly. Trying to get that tail. Yeah, whatever, I didn't have the stamina. Didn't have the stamina to resist that. Oh dear. Maybe I hadn't recovered enough stamina at that point to properly advance through that. Did you see how there was a curvature to his rush forward attack? It was not unidirectional, like he didn't commit to a direction there. He started running and then he curved himself. That's really weird. I guess that's probably something everyone knows about and I just never took notice. It's probably one of those things. Oh, you watched my Monster Hunter Online video? You asked the question, do I still do Monster Hunter Online? The answer is no, and I will tell you why. It's because the game doesn't exist anymore. If I could, I would, but I can't, because the game doesn't exist. The only people still uploading Monster Hunter Online stuff is stuff that was recorded historically. So, yeah. Hello, Miyabi. But yeah, I mean, I didn't play as much Monster Hunter Online as I wanted to. Ultimately. I couldn't bring myself to play more than I did. There would have been a time, like, there would have been short bursts where I played a lot of it, and I would have ultimately gotten a much more well-built character than I ended up with by the end, but the server shut down, so I wasn't able to. And part of me regrets that, and part of me doesn't, because I know why I didn't play it very much. It was just a very janky game. And it didn't speak to me as a Monster Hunter game. I didn't dislike it. There was nothing to dislike about it because it wasn't a mainline game. It wasn't something that was dictating the future of the series, you know, it wasn't an iteration in the mainline series, so there was nothing to really take issue with. Plus it was free to play. But, yeah, there were parts of it that I just didn't gel with, and for that reason I didn't play it very often. And so, yeah. But if it never shut down, I definitely would have played it more often, in the end. Or at some point I would have recorded a lot, and then maybe nothing for a while, something like that. I actually wanted to stream it a little bit more than I did as well, but that was difficult to coordinate, because I had, like, one guy that I would ever play with. And he wasn't super reliable himself, sometimes he'd have to disappear or something. You know, busy people with busy lives. Be your first EX, Miyabi, that's good to hear. Depends on the EX, some are fairly easy to kill, but then others are really nasty, but I suppose that's something of an achievement anyway. Probably going to sharpen up here. Whose bombs are these? I feel like I haven't been able to catch up to this monster very well. I'm not going to bother with those bombs. I don't want to know anything about them right now. Monster Hunter Online is good because you can create sexy characters. Well, that's definitely why a lot of the people were playing in China. Because you would almost never ever see a male hunter. I was one of the few. I had made a female hunter in Monster Hunter Online, and I promptly remade my character. I had to remake a character anyway because I had joined a server that... Okay, basically I had a group that I was able to hunt with, but they were on a different server to the one that I had made my first character on. And when I made a second character, I made a male character that second time, and the reason why was because, like, I don't necessarily mind scantily clad females in my video games, but that was just on another level. It was like, I don't know, going to the red light district and maybe heading into the brothel, and those are your hunters, you know, it was pathetic, and, I mean, some people might like it, but, no. You need a certain suspension of disbelief to be able to appreciate that, and, quite frankly, I do not appreciate that kind of crap. You know, you're a hunter, not a stripper. You know, you're not showing your ass to the barrier as you hunt it. It's... Anyway, point is, it was just going too far for me. You need to have some tact, otherwise you may as well be playing a porn game. You know, we're past bikini armors, it was... You know what, that's the best way to say it. You didn't have bikini armors, you had bikinis in that game, so... And that was your armor. Armor. It was dumb. My Twitch avatar is one that I've used for a while now. I think 4 years now. It is Ashuramaru from Owari no Seraph. Yeah, he's kind of my my anime avatar. I really should do Corkscrew Jab. The reason why I haven't been doing it is because I'm constantly worried that I'm going to fuck it up. But managed to do it there, though. Can I shield in time? Well, I don't think I would have been able to shield in time, but for once the longsword guy was useful in his flinching of me. I'm not talking about him specifically, I'm just saying, you know, oftentimes if you're getting flinched by the longsword guy, it is cause for frustration, but that helped me out. Yeah, I don't think I've been playing amazingly well here, but it doesn't really matter. I'm never going to play amazingly well versus a Barioth with a lance. It's not really the weapon type for this monster. I mean, maybe it can be, but it's not a comfortable option. It's viable, but not comfortable, we'll put it that way. I don't think he's going to last too much longer. I feel like we've been beating on him pretty well. Although, I think... No. I'm the only person not using a Neset weapon. Oh, some things never change. Like, seriously, the community is eviscerated by the release of Rise, and then what's left? Still a bunch of Neset weapons. Or Atul-Kar weapons, I suppose you would say. Neset is just the blanket term that I use to refer to all things Atul-Kar, but in reality that's just the name of the armor. No, Exio, I had not heard of such a thing. That is a limping Barioth. And I don't think he's going to leave this area alive. At least, hopefully not. As much as I want to sharpen... Oh, good flash bomb. I was going to do a shield assault to help in killing him. God, he's taking a lot of hits despite the limp. Just goes to show how much health these hypers have. Definitely would have helped if I had sharpened, but again, I didn't want to do it because sometimes you need to work out if your DPS in that moment is more important than additional sharpness. In other words, you take time out of what could otherwise be sustaining of DPS to sharpen. I don't mind Silverwind Nagakuga, nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that set. I don't know what gave you the idea that I wouldn't like that, it's just... I guess what you're saying is that I might not like sets that are commonly used, not necessarily. But regarding the Neset stuff, that's a bit boring. That's a bit boring. Follow me, says Jazz. Well, I'll follow you, alright. It shows a bit of skin. No, no, no. As I said, I don't mind scantily clad females in video games. What I'm saying is that Monster Hunter Online took it way too far. That's what I was saying. I'm not one of these asexual fucking people who's like, oh, I don't want to see skin on the female. I mean, get a grip. I mean, you can have preferences. I understand if people don't like bikini armors in concept, I suppose that works, but... Well, thank you, Miyabi. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and complain about bikini armors. I suppose you can complain about the concept, but you also have to look at it realistically and say, well, it's a video game. You know, we're not talking about realistic armor. It's a video game. So, Tyler in chat says Barioth is epic. Rightio. Yeah, the kid-in set from pretty much the beginning of Monster Hunter back in first generation has always been the sexy armor set. Consistently so. And it works, I don't know why, it makes sense that it would be that kind of set. I don't know who's... Oh, I suppose they're waiting for me to say who's posting next. I suppose... P1. Well, did you want to post, Jazz? If you don't want to post, let me know. Oh, you're choosing, okay. Yeah. So, Peter. I'll choose a quest. I suppose that's his way of saying, I do want to choose. I do wonder why so many of you are making an appearance today. You'd expect that with a raid, but there has been no raid, so I do wonder. Everyone just feels like watching Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate today, apparently. Which is a good thing. Bolt Reaver G2. Radio. Who just chose? What do you mean, who just chose? Oh, you mean, it was slowly, wasn't it? Tyler thinks he's going to get a turn after slowly. Isn't that funny? That's not how it works, my friend. It's in order of who joins the room, and Jazz didn't want to post initially for some reason, but now wants to post. Before P2? Oh my god. P3. Oh, why do I have to explain this to you? Just join the quest. I'd be happy to explain it to you if I had my keyboard plugged in, but I don't. If he's actually going to question why Jazz is posting... Oh my fucking... You know what? This kind of dysfunctional shit is what pisses me off about this community. Who just chose before P2? I answer his question with player 3. Player 3 is like, huh? Fuck me. Oh, here we go. Aren't we doing... Yeah. Why do I have to explain this shit to you? Yeah. Come on. Round robin picks. We sure fucking are. Who says that you are after that person? You joined after Jazz. Holy God. We are? God, this is tiresome. I'm scaring the children. Yeah, there is transmog in this game, but it's a very lengthy endgame if that's your focus. I'm certainly at a point... I'm picking you, Wenny Hutt Jr., whatever the fuck that means. Oh my god. Why are they... I mean, you people can just relax and join the quest. How about that? What are we doing again, Bolt Reaver? Fuck me. It's like waiting for the rapture with these people. Unbelievable. Alright, buddy. Yeah, we'll go and leave then. Alright, buddy. Get out! Now that could either be... Okay, I'll do whatever you're doing, or that could be, yeah, alright, buddy, and then leaving. I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing. I don't have time to explain simple things to simple-minded people. I really fucking don't. This community, man. I mean, have a little bit of common sense. Alright. What I was saying before, though, was that the transmog endgame is very lengthy, and the reason why is because when you actually get to the point where you have so many different mixed sets, you really do need to spend a lot of time making your custom sets, like your transmog versions, and what that entails is oftentimes making the same piece of armor multiple times, because, let's say for example, you have one specific piece of armor that you use in a lot of mixed sets. Well, you can only transmog one specific piece of armor. You can't, for example, have one piece of armor and then change the transmog based on the registered set you have. If you have 3 different transmog sets, all of which use one common armor piece, you would have to make 3 of that armor piece and then transmog them all separately. Now, in this game there are certain armor sets that you will very often have in mixed sets. That is Assurient XR and Acantor XR, to name 2 of the most common ones, which means that you'll be having to make a lot of those armor pieces for transmog. So as I said, the transmog endgame is just, it's very time consuming, and it has to be something that you really care about. Me, I don't really care about it enough to invest the time, so I just don't. I did make one transmog set, but that was about it. I suppose I'll go for this. I'll forfeit my turn for you, Jazz. You're not forfeiting anything. I'm actually going to plug in my keyboard. This is pissing me off. I'll forfeit my turn for you. Get a grip. Meaning you pick twice. Unbelievable. Shouldn't have to do that shit. What? You know, Jazz, you saying read the chat, go up is totally just making it harder for him to read it. I shouldn't have to plug in a bloody keyboard to explain it to this guy. I mean, has he never been in a turns room? It's not always that simple. It's... LMAO, have you been what? Get to wait for him to type to me now. Have I been paying attention? Apparently not. Did he say... What do you mean? Well, how do I go up the chat again? I don't even know how I go up the chat. Well, you say... Well, he says he gave up his turn, but obviously the implication of that is that he thinks his turn was skipped in the first place, because that was obviously the basis of his contention initially. And so when I see him saying, I give up my turn for Jazz, that's basically confirming that he does think he's been skipped. So I'm making sure that he knows he was never skipped, and he doesn't even necessarily need to give his turn. Now, if he was willing to give up his turn in the first place, why did he even question the fact that Jazz was posting? I don't know what he said, but yeah. Not sure what's going on in the chat there. That looks like fun. So yeah, if I ever seem like I'm not willing to do deviant hunts, it's not entirely true. Admittedly, if I had to choose between a regular monster and a deviant monster, I would probably choose a regular monster, but I'm willing to do G-rank deviant monsters. It's the high-rank deviants that I just won't do. I'm not a fan of those ones at all. Anyway. I do like Bolt Reaver though. He's one of my favourite deviants, just because I really like Astalos as a monster. Some people don't really like Astalos all that much because he has the same body type as Rathalos, and people don't find that very exciting. For me, I don't worry so much about how similar his body type is to a monster like Rathalos. I'm more focused on things such as the big axe on his head, the over-the-top lightning effects that he has. I also love the insectoid wings that he has, and how they have this sort of rainbow sheen to them when he's dead. Little things like that really make Astalos a cool monster for me, so as a result, I also like his deviant form. Maybe you could argue that his deviant form isn't as interesting as a deviant form specifically compared to other deviants, but I don't know. Wait, did someone already dung bomb him? What the hell? What was that for? Was that a mistake or a troll? Now, this is what I like about him, it's that colour change. And the thing is, people could argue that, oh, if it's just a colour change, that's not really a big deal. That's not a very good thing to be excited about, Doomlink. But it's also attacks like that big head beam attack. I really like that. It's just this giant, I suppose you'd say, sword chop. But it's a monster with an axe on its head. I guess you'd say axe chop then, wouldn't you? Anyway. One thing I don't really like about him though, well, it's not necessarily something that I dislike about the monster, such that I would say that he's poorly designed or something like that. But one thing that does bother me generally about the hunt is the attack where he actually draws you in. I'm not a huge fan of that one. That's a little bothersome to me. Oh, what? It's a one feint. Oh, it's a one feint. I knew that was coming. I had to make one of two decisions. Either sheathe my weapon so that I had more mobility to dive out of the way of the attack, or keep my weapon out and just roll out of the way. I made the decision that I had enough time to sheathe my weapon to get out of the way of that, and that was not what happened, unfortunately. And had I known that was a one feint, I would have actually eaten for insurance. But I suppose that makes sense, doesn't it? Usually if you have a G-rank Deviant, and it's just a slay the Deviant monster, nothing else, and it's just the one Deviant, that usually means that it is, in fact, a one feint. So we can do that again, I just need to get insurance, which you can usually find in the elemental resistances. Well, you can always find it in the elemental resistances, I should say. Insurance and Moxie is a great combination, so we'll do that again. Tyler says, Jazz, you can go again. I'm so glad he's here coordinating the room. I'm so glad he's coordinating. Otherwise, we'd be in deep shit, wouldn't we? If he wasn't here. Miyabi, I think one thing you should take into consideration is the fact that Exio is probably just trying to rile you up. Don't take him at face value, don't assume that he even believes what he's saying. I haven't read what he's said so far, but I think he's just trying to rile you up. So, I'd recommend you try to ignore him, block him or something, I'm not sure. But, if you can, I'd just prefer to not have large arguments in the chat, you know. I'm not going to time people out, I think you can all be adults, even if you're not an adult, I guess technically. But I'd like to think that we can all be mature enough to try and hold back on provocation. And you see, Miyabi, you make it harder by throwing shots like calling him a man-child. If we're going to try to resolve this, you calling him a man-child is not going to resolve anything, so pick your battles. I don't think it's a worthwhile battle that you're engaging in right now. And you know, I shouldn't be sitting here trying to mediate your argument. Anyone got insurance? Yes. I do. Anyway. I have to say, that's a very strange combination. EX Fatalis. Same? What? Oh dear. So great, 2 people have insurance. The good thing about that, though, is that I also ate for Moxie. So, in other words, I didn't sacrifice another decent skill for insurance. I managed to get insurance and another decent skill. Now, normally I wouldn't go for Moxie on a Blade Master set, but let's say, for example, I had Moxie in that previous instance, when I died, I would have actually been able to take that hit, probably. Unless my theory that Moxie cannot work with pure elemental damage is true. I think that attack is pure elemental damage. I have a feeling that Moxie only works for raw damage. Just because I've had some strange deaths despite having Moxie, and every time there's been a strange death, it's been an elemental attack. So I don't know. I'm sure there's information about that somewhere out there. Hey Maths, good to see you. Already got a colour change, which I suppose would indicate that we might be doing more damage this time as opposed to last time, unless it's been the same length of time roughly. That was a bad idea. I didn't know that attack was lingering. One thing that's also worth mentioning is that I probably haven't fought too much Bolt Reaver at all. I would guess maybe 7 or 8, something like that. But usually my estimates are slightly short of what it ends up being in reality. Okay, seriously, I will time the both of you out if you don't cut it out right now. Forget the damn arguments. And if you want to feel real good about yourselves, you two are the first person to have a full-blown argument in my stream ever. So, there you go. That's why I don't have any moderators, it's because I've never needed moderators, but you two are starting to make it look like I need them. There goes Jazz. Fortunately we do have... Oh, whoops, we were right in the load zone, didn't notice. Fortunately we do have insurance there. The thing is, you don't really want to be using insurance. It's one of those things that's there just in case for a one faint hunt. But better this than actually failing the quest. Oh, stop it. Oh, I was called an elitist? I don't even know if it relates to me or not. To be honest, if a person calls me an elitist, they're likely dead right. Because the definition of elitist can refer to me, so it's not something I take offense to. If that's an opinion someone has, then they're welcome to express it. But I'm also welcome to tell them that it means almost nothing to me, and that they'd be better off not saying it at all, really. Oh god, look out. Yeah, that's the thing, you know, I'm just trying to play the damn game. I'm not here keeping up on everyone's drama. Oh, why am I doing this? Oh, that's very interesting. So that was the first part of another attack. Unfortunately, the second part was not able to be followed through because he was knocked out of the air. I've come to realize that, actually, I'm not very good with Charge Blade subconsciously. Almost every other weapon type I can play subconsciously fairly well, but Charge Blade I'm sort of sitting there almost in standby, like in neutral, I suppose. I would imagine that it's probably easier. Junch, I actually don't know. I can't speak to Charge Blade in 5th generation because I didn't use it very much. Not because I didn't want to, but because I didn't get around to doing it. I only played about 350 hours in World, and the weapons that I covered in that time were Longsword, Greatsword, Dual Blades, Light Bowgun, Heavy Bowgun, Bow, and I think that's it. And Lance, as well. Didn't use Charge Blade or Insect Leg or any of that. I mean, maybe just a little bit. Maybe in the training area or something, but for the most part, no. Oh, I think it was Energy Blade that I was wanting to get, wasn't it? At level 3. I think so. Oh dear. Oh, look out. But yeah, possibly easier to use here in this game. Or rather, harder to use here in this game is what I mean to say. Because usually they don't make things harder in the future games. I suppose it depends on how you look at it. Maybe there are more complexities to the weapon in 5th gen, that's possible. Maybe that could be construed as greater difficulty, but I don't know. Oh dear. No you don't. About to run out of red shield. You know what, that's okay. Because I can actually recharge this momentarily. This has not been a great performance of my Charge Blade proficiency. I really wasn't able to avoid that, sadly. I didn't realise what was happening until it was far too late. Alright, so I will get my red shield happening and then use Ripper Shield to get my files back. If I can actually manage that. Because Ripper Shield is one of those hunter-ass that's very circumstantial. Oh, whoops, that was a bad habit. Here we go. When I say it's circumstantial, what I mean to say is that you can't always get it off. But I suppose it's like that with anything, isn't it? Well, Charge Blade is definitely intimidating for beginners, I would say, but not so intimidating that people don't use it. It's one of the most popular weapon types, I suppose. But I think it probably is a little intimidating because it is, I believe, the most process-driven weapon type in the series. And when I say process-driven, I mean that to really be effective with it, you have to go through a lot of stages in the weapon, and really process-driven is the best way to describe it. There are a lot of processes to using the weapon. It's not just, oh, get your charge up and then press R, like Longsword is. So, yeah, it's, I suppose, just a more complex weapon. And I wasn't really interested in it when it came out, in Monster Hunter 4 and 4 Ultimate. But I eventually played it because I realised that it's just a... In fact, it was this game that I really first gave it a chance. Or this game where I first gave it a chance, and I've come to realise that it's just a better version of Switch Axe. In fact, I wonder why they even continue. Why am I being so terribly destroyed by this monster? One thing I have to tell you guys is that I usually don't play this horrendously, so... If you're judging my play, well, leave me alone. Don't be baffled by 5th gen players not liking 4th generation. Because unfortunately, 5th generation Monster Hunter is basically Monster Hunter Wipe My Arse edition. And when their arse is not being sufficiently wiped by the game, and that is basically 4th gen, they unfortunately can't handle it, so... Decided to charge up my red shield again. But yeah, I try not to talk about 5th generation, because any person who really likes 5th generation takes it personally when I speak ill of it. Well, not any person, some people are sensible enough not to attach their ego to the things that they like, but... Yeah, I don't have many positive things to say about 5th generation. There's a reason why I'm playing this. Alright. Jazz wanted to capture the thing, but we killed it before we could do that. I will give a good hunt for that. I regret that I couldn't have performed a little better in that hunt, but at least we succeeded in the end. Also, thanks for the follow, Junsh and Ridley Devil. Ridley Devil Joe Police. That's a very interesting name. Ridley Devil Joe Police. What does the police have to do with any of that? It's like you had a bunch of names in a hat, and you wanted 3 names in one. So you took out 3 names, and it's like, oh, Ridley, Devil Joe, Police. Okay. And that's right, Martha. I have to say, it's really cold here today. I actually had a rather disturbed sleep last night because it was so cold. I didn't really sleep, to be honest. Do you ever have those nights where you, the whole night, don't really fall asleep? You're not at the, you're like on the edge of sleep the whole night, but you're sort of resting, like you're dreaming, but you're not really asleep, that kind of thing. You get a lot of that, or you often get that when you're sick, like fever dreams. But it wasn't a fever dream, like I wasn't having fever dreams the whole night. It was, fever dreams are a lot worse because you have a fever, obviously, and oftentimes fever dreams can be a little bit crazy and you start to sort of hallucinate. You think the dreams are actually happening as you're laying there in bed, and it's quite awful. But in this case, I was just dreaming the whole time and was never really properly losing consciousness. So I feel a little bit drowsy, but whatever. So what's happening? Tyler is the one who is apparently coordinating this room, even though he came in here and was clueless as a plank of wood. But, am I allowed to say P3? We'll say P3, because Tyler's being skipped apparently. I'm happy to skip him. Now, is Tyler gonna spit the dummy that slowly gets a turn? Or does he want a turn now? See, I'm confused as to what's going on with this guy. He could have just left it to me. He would have gotten a turn. But, anyway. I just can't sleep. Yeah, for emulating the PSP games, definitely PPSSPP, because that supports online play. Provided you have... It's not like you can just go online immediately. What I mean is that it supports it, so... Don't know why. Jazz is doing the rant. Did you want 2 quests in a row? I wouldn't give you that. Okay. Another fated fall. Jake and Skate has raided me. With a party of how many? Let's see. 7. Jake and Skate. Do you play the game while skating? Is that something that you do? That would be interesting. I suppose at this point, with so many people in the content creation space, you need to do something unique. And I suppose skating while playing a video game is one option. I'm actually almost shivering because it's so damn cold. Bloody hell. I mean, it's not that cold in reality. I mean, I'm in Australia, you see. It's probably like, I don't know, 14 degrees Celsius, which some of you would scoff at. That's not cold, which is true. But it's cold for me at the moment. What would I like to use? Let's use Insect Glaive for a change. That's another weapon that I don't often use. Water. Eventide, what was it? Eventide something or other. Kazanagi. Most of the Mizutsunen weapons do have Japanese names, which you would expect with a Japanese water dragon. He is the portable third-looking monster of the game. How much content does Generations Ultimate have? A ridiculous amount. It has the most content of any Monster Hunter game by a long shot, and when you're first coming into it, it can actually be really daunting. In fact, I had to take some time away from it when I first got it, because I was so daunted by the amount of content. The more Monster Hunter games you play, the more clearly you can see how much content a game has, because you've experienced playing a Monster Hunter game. You know what's expected of you coming in, and when I saw what was expected of me coming into this game, I was a little bit, shall we say, turned off. For example, I wanted to make a specific armor set, and it was Grand Tokar. Well, it was a mixed set that used pieces of Grand Tokar, and to unlock that was so damn complicated. You know, it was villager request crap, and it was so confusing to me at the time that I just took a break. I was like, I can't do this crap. This is so annoying. Actually, I might go Defense Up Large. I was looking for Exchanger there. If I'm ever looking through my food a lot, it's because I'm looking for Exchanger. Don't really want Moxie. We'll go Defender High. Actually, no, I don't want Provoker. That can maybe not be a thing that I get. Fine. Go Defender Low. Yeah, 3 Ultimate is definitely my favourite too. Without a doubt. Oh dear. I think I should be ready to go. Oh, Tyler left the room. Oh, that's funny. Screw this. I quite agree, Tyler, I quite agree. I'll just say I'll wait 1 minute. Wait 1 minute. Don't have time for apostrophes. Oh, see, couldn't even finish typing it. This is why it's worth waiting. Of course, when you've got a group of 3, the chances of a 4th joining quite soon are reasonably high. R.I.P. Tyler, the coordinator. Yeah, he got, he was laid off from his job. Look at his set. Ooh, what about it? Maybe you meant the last one that he had used? Naga Cougar in 4 Ultimate. I don't know if you can trade for his armor pieces. Or not his armor pieces, sorry. I don't know if you can trade for his materials, because of course you do have the Wycoon. It's possible that you could have traded for it, I can't remember now. You can? Okay. Naga Cougar is your favourite flagship. Well, he was definitely the cleanest monster of Freedom Unite, because he was the newest monster. And, well, I suppose he would have been newer than Lavazioth. Lavazioth was technically a 2nd-gen monster as well, but like after DOS, because he was in Frontier originally. But yeah, Naga Cougar was a pretty good monster. Had very fair hitboxes as well. People complain about the tail, but you know, that's, in my opinion, fair, because he so clearly telegraphs that attack. Now, with Insect Glaive in this game, provided you're using Extract Hunter, you only have to really use it properly once. Unless you mess up your Extract Hunter uses, but for the most part... Oh, that's... okay, I need to try to aim for the back then. I didn't mean to roll in that direction. Today is not my day for Monster Hunter, I've found. So I think I need to aim for the back. Am I missing orange? I think I'm missing orange. Oh, crap. Why am I struggling so much with you? I'm gonna try to just get orange as a fluke. No. So I keep getting the fucking sign. Unless it's the feet. Could be the feet. No. No, don't go there. You know what? Fuck it. I'll stick with 2 colours. If you're gonna be like that. If you're gonna be like that. So I'm pretty sure, I mean really, I was wanting it to be the tail, but the tail is for healing, so whatever. So my goal is to get Extract Hunter and then I don't have to worry anymore. That's the point. I don't care so much about mounting with Insect Glaive anymore. I only do 1 mount. I have mounting masters so that I can get 1 single mount off reasonably quickly. And then I just leave it alone. I leave the mounting to the other weapon types, which is what they want you to do. After 4 ultimates, absolute joke of a mounting system. Basically made it so that Insect Glaive was too overpowered. Alright. And there's Extract Hunter. I might actually mount you here, if I may. I've got sufficient mounting attacks here. With 2 colours, there we go. I forgot that I actually had high-grade earplugs, which makes sense. I usually put high-grade earplugs on my Insect Glaive sets, because I don't like to be interrupted by a roar while in midair. So I foolishly was holding on to the monster when he was roaring, even though I didn't need to. Only the first time though, second time I worked it out. That's right, Exia. Glavenus is one of those monsters that I find myself fighting rather often in this game. He'd be probably in the top 5 most common fights that you'll run into in this game, because I think a lot of people just need his stuff. He's got some pretty decent weapons. Some people are of the opinion that the Fated 4 monsters are never the best weapons for their respective elements, but I personally disagree, because I am currently using the Mizutsune Insect Glaive. They definitely aren't always the best. The only one that I would say is usually not the best would be Astalos. I don't really like the Astalos weapons. I love the actual designs of the weapons, but I don't like the stats. But you can see I've got Extract Hunter charged up again. Might actually close the distance with a mounting attack. Or I guess you could call it an aerial attack, that might be more sensible. I just wouldn't want to say aerial attack, lest someone assume that I'm referring to aerial style, which is something that I don't use. Thanks, Zombie Virus, I do also like this weapon. It's just got a nice design to it. I love the blade as well. It's a Naginata with an additional blade on the back, and it's got a very nice blade on the front. It's a nice sakura pink blade. Now, the key with Extract Hunter is not to miss. If you miss Extract Hunter, it's going to be a sad day. It's approximately 3 times worse than missing a level 3 Greatsword Charge in terms of disappointment factor. And he misses it. I guess I just had to demonstrate my disappointment to you. Whatever. He's limping anyway. Could probably go for a capture if they'd like to. Not that I can ask. Well, suppose I might have a shout somewhere about it. No. Let's capture this thing, says Jack. Well, rightio. I might go and grab that shiny. Not that I really need anything. Looks a bit like the Moran longsword because they are in fact the same type of weapon, Hossein. They are both naginatas. This one is just a little bit unrealistic in its design. This is a more anime-looking naginata. And I think the reason why they've made it look like this is specifically because it's an insect glaive. Usually insect glaives are double-sided, or double-edged, I should say. I don't know why slowly is going that way. I generally don't use Nagakuga weapons Miyabi unless it's for gunning. I tend to use the Nagakuga weapons for guns, but yeah. Oh. I'll leave the other trank to you. To be honest, he doesn't look like he's comfortably sleeping. He looks like I must have looked last night. You know, I only just noticed that he's got 2 horns on the front there. So he looks a little bit like a Carnotaurus. It's interesting. I suppose that's what he's modelled after. Unsurprisingly. But yeah, I didn't notice the horns on the front. Oh. Going to reposition myself in my chair. And now I feel cold again, for some reason. It's as if all my body heat was just expelled and now I'm like, ooh. Just by moving. I must have been storing heat. What's my favourite monster? I can never really give a straight answer on that. I can only give maybe a top 3. The top 3 would be Devil Joe. I always go straight to Devil Joe, but the other 2 I can never think of. I used to really like Cantor, but I don't like him that much anymore. Because I got sick of fighting him. He's one of those monsters that gets very boring to fight. What are you pointing at? I don't need a post. So we'll go P4. And then you will have the turn after that, Jazz. So now we're going in proper descending order. While skipping me. Skip, alright. P2. Do I remember Yamatsukami? I play Freedom Unite every week at least. At least once a week I try to play Freedom Unite. I play it fairly frequently. Yamatsukami is one of those monsters that's very interesting as an Elder Dragon, but he's not all that fun to fight. the flying trash bag indeed. But it's not a fair description of him. It's true, but not fair, because it's a... I suppose trash bag would be a negative connotation. I suppose, of course it is. But I think he's fairly interesting. Even now I don't mind fighting him from time to time. I don't really like the Nakakos fight, but I think I prefer the Nakakos fight. I don't know. Not sure what Jazz wants to post. I'm almost tempted to zip up my jacket, honestly. Like, but I don't know if I will. Maybe I won't. Why is it so cold? Like, what the hell is going on? I'm gonna check the temperature. I'm gonna say it and you guys are gonna be like... Okay, yeah, right. You're shivering in this fucking temperature, whatever, Doomlink. What is the temperature? Oh no, that can't be true. No, it can't be 16 degrees Celsius, that's not true. It must be colder where I am. I'm gonna guess it's around 14. 16 degrees Celsius. No, I would guess that it's at least 2 or 3 degrees below that. Bolt Reaver G1. Why do you do this to me? Well, whatever. All that setup time just to post a Bolt Reaver G1. Well, I suppose it wasn't so much setup time as it was working out what you needed, I guess. I just remembered that I might want to check my trader. Yes, indeed. Let's go get all of that. May as well take the spider webs too, although, oh god, I have so many spider webs. I don't think I'll take more. I'll never have to worry about nets ever again, though. That's for damn sure. Do we have enough dragon toadstools? It'll probably tell us how many we have. We have 95. We'll do one more round of dragon toadstools, but I'll replace one of them with honey. Oh no, I probably need my cats to be recharged or something. Well, you know, have their enthusiasm recharged. They have suddenly become very unenthusiastic. Oh, that's bad odds. How about Jewel? There you go. Thanks, Jewel. Oh, you're a treasure. Get it? Very funny. Oh, Doomlink. Who the fuck are these cats? I don't even know what these cats are. Were they given to me? I don't know. Anyway. They're useful for trading materials. That's for sure. Okay, now let's check Meowster Hunters. Do I have rare in the Tundra for either low rank or high rank? I do not, and quite frankly, I don't think that will ever appear. Jazz, did you change quests? You did, didn't you? Well, now I have to go and check the board again. Okay. Raging Brachydios. Admittedly, ice can work for both of those monsters, but I think I'll be using a bow. Probably Ice Pierce, I would guess. Although I don't know what my Ice Pierce bow is. Let's figure that out together. Come on. No, it's not you. I think it's Hailstorm. Maybe it's Load Up. See, if I just had I have so many bow sets and so many bows that I just don't know what I'm using at any given time. Come on, are you Pierce? No! Oh my god, so it's a different bow entirely. It's separate to both of those. It couldn't be you, it couldn't be Elderfrost. It is Elderfrost Marksman, I think it's non-load up Elderfrost. It is. Shit. I'd totally forgotten. I mean, you'd think, oh, you should be able to remember your own sets, Doomlink, but it's not that simple. When you've got this many bows, and some of them you actually use for 2 different loadouts, like you'd use one bow for Rapid, for example, on the level 3 charge, and then you'd use it for Pierce on the level 4, or something like that. So in other words, it gets very confusing very quickly if you've got that many bows to choose from. And that's my situation. It becomes a whole lot less confusing when you have a text file to refer to, and I do have one actually, that tells me what all of my bows are, and what I use them for. But when I don't take it out and look at it, well, open it I guess you would say, rather than take it out, like it's an actual note just sitting somewhere. When you don't actually have a look at it, it doesn't really help very much, does it? Not getting much luck on Exchanger. Defender High and Weakener will do me. We gonna have fun, says Jazz. I suppose we will. Does this support power coatings? I think it does, strangely. Yeah, it does. Power level 2. And element, god. Such a heavy raw damage bow. Well, it's not super heavy. Now that I think about it, yeah. So it is appropriate for it to support these coatings. For some reason I thought it was heavier damage than that. It's good, don't get me wrong, but yeah. Usually the Elderfrost stuff is pretty damn strong. Oh wait, I think... No, I did get both element, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Both elemental levels, however I want to say that. Okay. think we are good to go. Raging Brachydios. I usually use either light bowgun or heavy bowgun, but I always use ranged. That's always what I choose. It's just easier, it's what I prefer. I wouldn't intentionally cause discomfort for myself by using, like, I don't know, a gun lance. That'd be a great weapon to piss me off. That'd be funny if I flinched Quinn in midair. Although I don't think it would have really affected him too much. You've never fought this monster, Slide? Well, Jazz, I should be calling you. Just be aware that he can speed up suddenly. He will start off moving very slowly, but he can suddenly speed up. Also be aware of the fact that he does detonate parts of his body. So rather than slamming the ground and detonating where he slams the ground, his actual body parts will explode. And they explode when they are hit, when they have almost charged up. Which is a weird explanation, but you'll work out what I'm trying to get across. You see how his tail is all lit up there? In fact, his whole body is lit up. If any of those parts of his body are hit, they will explode. Detonate. So, it's a bit dangerous, but that's the reason why I go ranged, because you don't have to worry about that. Literally the best counter to this guy's explosions is to not be close to his body, so that's the way I'm doing it. Actually, I do wonder if water is better than ice, now that I think about it. I think water is better for regular Brachydios and ice is better for raging. That's what I think is the case. But I could be wrong. Because I don't think I've used an ice pierce bow on this guy before. Which means that I've probably opted for water in the past. Because I definitely would have used a pierce bow on this monster in the past, at some point. Okay, I'll need to get my other elemental coatings out. Oh, great. Jazz actually has Naruto shouts, and even has a typo in there. Damn. And there goes Quinn. How have we already got 2 faints? My god. That's really not a great start. I mean, that's almost a restart sort of situation. Like, let's try again. Because the chances of a 3rd feint taking place between now and the moment the monster dies is fairly high. Now, you'll have to forgive me for not doing power shots. I'm going to start doing that now. The reason why I'm not is because the last time I was using a bow, it was in portable 3rd. So, I'm kind of out of the habit of even doing power shots. Actually, no, well, it was technically in portable 3rd, but it was also 3 ultimate when I was last using a bow. Both games, really. 3rd gen bow is how I will say that. Way out of critical distance there. Power coating level 2 on the go, which is definitely going to be very effective. Let's just cross our fingers that we can survive as a team. And then kill this monster in the process. I'm just lining up for Pierce here. Hopefully he doesn't turn again. Good. Now I'd like to pierce through the head if I can. Oh, that's one of my least favourite things. When the monster is down for a while and then a tail cut ruins it. Although that wasn't too bad, I will say. Sometimes you can have a tail cut immediately and that's just awful. At least that lasted for about 4 seconds. Maybe 5. I do have tactical retreat as well, if I feel the need to use that. I think I've got a bit more natural light now than when I was first recording, so I might have to make sure everything's fine with the webcam view. I think we're alright. That's a bit dangerous. I used to think that he had more range with that attack versus regular Brachydios, but now that I'm looking at it, I don't think so. There we go. Of course, the thing with power shots, you can't always be using power shots, and the reason why is because, for one, they can actually cause you to be a little vulnerable. They can put you in a vulnerable position, we'll say. But as well as that, oftentimes the monster doesn't stay in one place for long enough to warrant a power shot. It's one of those things you have to weigh up. Is it worth doing a power shot? I'll do an arc shot. Goody. I'm not saying that was my arc shot that flinched him, but it contributed to it. We'll say that. Now sadly, even though he is exhausted, we can't make use of a trap here. Because I think, what's this called? The Sacred Grounds or something? Ingle Isle, that's right. Sacred Grounds, I think, is the original Elatrion location, something like that. But anyway, because we're in the Ingle Isle, no traps can be used. You've actually managed to misspell Jutsu on two fronts. Two letters are misspelled there. I don't know how you managed that. That takes talent, Jazz. Anyway. Might triple volley. The reason why I don't like triple volley is because it doesn't have any element. And I'm a real sucker for elemental damage. But it's good raw damage on its own, so... See, I wasted one of my last coatings there because I did an unnecessary power shot. So... do as I say, not as I do. Well, oftentimes when I give advice, it's also to try to... or to make comments. I also try to instill it in my own mind, because sometimes I don't bother following what I know to be the best thing to do. Well, it seems that he can slam the ground and create an explosion if he is fully charged on that fist. Interesting. Why am I only now noticing this? Probably because I always gun, so I always detonate it before he can really slam it down and create an explosion. Surprised that we haven't broken the head yet. I should rephrase that. I'm surprised I haven't broken the head yet, because it really does fall to me more than anyone else on the team. You can see that a power shot doesn't actually require stamina, but it does consume stamina. Which I do appreciate. Oh, that's not good. And to cancel out of whatever I was doing there. I say whatever as if it's an abstract thing. I was clearly charging my bow. That is not a mystery to anyone. And certainly not to me. Suppose we'll go for the other fist. To get my stamina back up because I'm not using Mega Dash Juice here. To be honest, oh, that's kind of awful. Way off target there. I haven't really felt like I need Mega Dash Juice in this hunt, because it's been fairly slow going. Especially with Brachydios constantly exhausted like this. It's just been very chilled out, so I haven't really been in need of stamina. But generally, if you're doing power shots, it is very good to have at least stamina skills or Mega Dash Juice or Dash Juice, you know. Doesn't have to be Mega, can be normal. Oh dear. I had the environment working against me there. I was trying to evade him and then I ended up walking off into... well, trying to walk out of the map. Naturally that didn't work. No, you don't. Have to get out of range here. I probably didn't need to use Tactical Retreat there, but it's good to be safe. Better to be safe than sorry, especially with one death left before we fail. Wasn't it in my last 3 Ultimate stream when I was just using a lot of bow? I think so. I do think so. Doing another triple volley here. In fact, triple volley is one of those Hunter-Arts that I probably don't have a level 3 for yet, but it is possible that I have unlocked it and I've just never equipped it. I really should take time to check that, because it's easily possible that I have it. That's what happened with Critical Juncture. Oh shit. That attack of all attacks. I bet Slowly's pretty unimpressed about that. Well, I know the whole team's unimpressed about that, myself included, but I'm sure he's especially feeling it given that he died twice. Yeah, we were damn close. He must have been less than a minute out from death, would be my guess, but whatever. Can't always succeed. I was hoping for a successful hunt there. Oh well. I don't know if I really want to do that again with this team. I'm surprised Slowly actually stuck around after that. A lot of people who die twice leave in shame, you know. Not that I think that they should. I think that's a bad attitude. But, well, it depends. Depends on the situation. Depends how shameful it is, but a triple card is often followed by an immediate disconnect. But, yeah. I might actually compare the elemental weaknesses of water and ice for Raging Brachydios. Just out of interest, and hopefully I will internalize the information. Where is the cert? Brachydium, here we go. Ice is better, right. I'm going purely based on the armors, but yeah, sometimes the armors don't always accurately reflect the weakness. Which is to say that there might be one specific part of the monster that takes more elemental damage from a separate element to what would appear to be a secondary element, but is in fact the best element for hitting that particular part of the body, which actually results in the best elemental damage overall. That does happen. But I think the armors display what is generally best. And that's good enough for me, at least when I'm not of the mind to get a reference and check. You're in this room, Gunzolino? Were you always here? Are you slowly? I guess you are, aren't you? That's really strange that I didn't make that connection in my mind. That's really strange. Well. Oh, you're Quinn. You typed that before? Sorry, I missed what you said. Well, that's cool. Are we doing that again, Jazz, or what are we doing? I don't mind doing it again, honestly. But if we get another double death right at the start, I will leave this time. As in, not leave the room, but leave the quest. We'll see if Slowly sticks around. My guess is that he's not... Oh, he's absolutely willing to do it again. He wants to redeem himself. Very well. Looking for Exchanger again. Not that I got it last time, but... What did I have again? I think it was Defender High and Weak now. As I said, not really doing too well with my luck. With Exchanger. It's getting a little bit bright outside, but actually it doesn't look too bad on the webcam, so... Well, looks like we're going for defense again. Suppose we'll go Defender High. And combine a high, not that I need it. I'll have to go and buy my coatings again. I'm sticking with Ice Bow because I still feel like using Bow. I mean, normally I don't use the same thing twice, but... It is what it is. If I feel like using Bow, I'll keep using Bow. Even if it's the exact same bow versus the exact same monster. I could have used Heavy Bow to keep things fun. In fact, that would have been pretty fun, wouldn't it? Using Heavy Bow, but... I don't even know... Oh! I was going to say I don't even know what my Heavy Ice Bow is, but I think it might actually be the same bow. I think this might be my Heavy Ice Bow. Anyway. Maybe it is a good thing that I stuck with Pierce. Oh. Here we go. Went past my cool drinks because I'm going insane apparently. Well, speedrunners do lose their shit if they mess up one tiny bit, because a world record can be the difference of 1 second. So, they need to be... They might not even necessarily be going for a world record, but the point is that they need to be extremely coordinated. And everything needs to be as perfect as they can manage. I can imagine why you would get annoyed if you mess up one tiny bit, because the thing is, speedrunners probably feel their own limitations quite clearly, which means that if they mess up something that they know they can actually do properly, that would serve to frustrate them even further, because they would feel limited already, because they know their limitations, but then it's 10 times worse if you know you can do better than what you just did. So, yeah, see, speedrunning is not something that I can handle, because I'm a bit too casual for that crap now. Not that I ever did speedruns, really, but I used to play Monster Hunter very seriously, so I can relate to wanting to play your best at all times, but for me, it doesn't really matter. I mean, sometimes if you don't play your best, people will judge you at that level, and the only thing you can do is not let yourself get worried about that. Because people will always seek to judge you on your skill, sometimes without even consciously realizing it. So, I mean, the only thing you can do is let go. Otherwise, the alternative is you try harder. Why do we have... Oh, Jesus. Do I need to get my life powders out? Well, maybe it was a bit late for the life powder there, but... Anyway. Well. Even with the life powders, that didn't quite help. That's alright. Jazz, what is your defense for this hunt? I have a feeling that this is a defense issue, not a skill issue. Because admittedly, it almost doesn't matter how good you are. If you die in almost one hit, it's going to make things very difficult. It's 800. Well, that's actually not too bad. It's not great. It could be better technically, but 800 is fine. But for full Nesset, I suppose you haven't really upgraded it all that much. Because full Nesset can get to like 950 or something. Or just shy of 950. Just from memory. Just going to do back hops for fun. Come on, slowly. Of course, the irony of his name and me telling him to come on. But anyway, not that he was doing it slowly. That was more encouragement than telling him to hurry up. I'm not that bad. I'm bad, but I'm not that bad. Suppose I can get triple volley on the go. Maybe I should get in the habit of doing that. Ooh. Can I get all three? Yes, I can. Or that would have been at the expense of taking a hit, but fortunately he was flinched there. Very fortunately. I can definitely take a hit with his defense, but I'd rather not, I suppose. I feel like I have to reserve the deaths for other people. If I sound like I'm being really worst case scenario about the team, I only say that because I very rarely encounter difficulty with this monster with a team. Like usually we just kill it and it's not a big deal. But this has been a bit rough. I never really care so much about the team being super good, I just want people to survive, really. I just don't like failing quests. Thank you for the follow. Burn Blue Barn. That is another... That's almost the same as the last name that I was talking about. You know how it's like 3 names in one, and it sounds as if those 3 names have been pulled out of a hat? Burn Blue Barn. He had all of these names in a hat that started with B. All these words in a hat that started with B. Picked out 3, made a name out of it. So, there you go. I'm not saying that's exactly what he did. I'm just saying that's what it looks like. You usually don't watch live? Blue, I don't know how to... I guess I'll call you Blue. Well, I'm glad you're able to make it. A lot of people can't make my live streams because sometimes it's not a good time of the night for them. Sometimes it's either too late or... Well, it's usually that, to be honest. It doesn't work very well at all for Europe, especially with the time change during winter in my time zone. Which is summer for you. Most likely, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. But, yeah. It is what it is. Thank you, breadizers. Breadizers. The holiest of bread. Indeed. And do another triple volley. Well, thank you, Blue. There's another exploding fist. I mean, I suppose I've seen that before, it's just I never really cared. In other words, his fist actually succeeding in creating an explosion if it's charged up. I feel like I have seen it, but I just never took notice. Wonton bomb on your mum? Okay. Great. You saying wonton is in W-A-N-T-O-N? Well, I suppose wonton is in the food. Is it like a double pun? Do I explode these bombs at the expense of your health? Well, actually, I didn't need to. He did it himself, Mr. Brachydios. No. A one-shot? I wasn't expecting that. That's nasty. Well, what happened there was I should have rolled to the side, but I rolled forward. The reason why, and this is going to sound like an excuse, but I actually have on my analog stick on the left side a blank area where it doesn't properly register what I do. You might see from time to time my character as it moves forward actually sort of see that jittery motion that my character does there when it moves forwards. That's because if it even slightly moves to the left side, it fucks up basically. I'm using a PS4 controller on my Nintendo Switch. But for those who've been watching for a while, you'll know that I'm always complaining about that damn analog stick. Yeah, that makes sense, Hossein. Well, it's very frustrating that I've let myself die there, but if I'm getting one shot, then it is what it is. We've got an exhausted Brachydios here, which always makes things easier. Oh, no, no, no. Now, how that happened was that because I'd run out of stamina there, I wasn't able to roll. But it did let me do that arc shot. I'm not going to arc shot that because I don't want to mess up my teammates while the monster's down. So, triple volley opportunity. No. Oh, that's terrible timing. Couldn't have been worse timing. Unbelievable. Good to see Guildbow getting love. Well, I don't call it guild, I call it non-style. I don't use styles in this game. The only style that I use other than guild is Striker for Lance. And occasionally Adept if it's a difficult EX monster. Or a white Fatalis or something like that. Although I don't always use Adept for Fatalis. Look out slowly, if you hit that arm it's going to explode in your face. Oh, he knows what he's doing there. He Valor guarded that, or Valor countered I suppose you would say. Don't know if you call that a Valor guard or a Valor counter. I suppose it does lead into another attack, so that would by definition be a counter. I probably sound ignorant, and the reason why is because I never use Valor. Not a fan. Not my thing. Yeah, I opted to not use styles in this game because I wanted to continue my 4 Ultimate experience. I wasn't interested in the gimmicky style system from Frontier. In fact, it was the style system that stopped me from playing Frontier when it was a game that you could play. So, needless to say, I wasn't too impressed to see it make an appearance in mainline Monster Hunter. But the styles were a bit worse in, well, whatever they were called. They weren't called styles, I don't think. But they were a bit worse in that game. Like being able to run at full speed with your weapon out, just whenever you want. So, yeah, like, let me get my greatsword, and then just run around with it. Great. Totally doesn't trivialize the weapon or anything. But I'm sure some people like that. Now, that's insurance, isn't it? Yeah. Someone got insurance this time. Good on them. I didn't even think to do that. I was too busy trying to eat for Exchanger. Alright, let's make sure I'm not in range of that. I'll tell you what, this has become something of an insurmountable task. I turn around and Raging Brachy is this crazy hump. And I didn't mean to roll in that direction either. I was wanting to roll in the opposite direction. Leave me alone, mister. I think we've got one more fist to break. One thing to take note of also is that Raging Brachydios is one of those monsters that almost has no upper limit for the range of his roar. I'm actually going to get a life powder out for this one. That's called expecting the result. I'd best play support where I can. Here we go again. Oh no. Managed to get out of the way of that one. Going to try to do what I can to ensure we succeed. You've had an auto shout for Hunter Art 1 for that long? Or rather the whole time, and it's taken you this long to use Hunter Art 1? I've never seen that shout before from you. I suppose he's always been using Hunter Art 2. What he calls his Shadow Clone Jutsu, or Jitsu as he, with an I and a Z. Oh dear. What type of bow is Elderfrost? It's a pierce bow, and I think it might be heavy on the fight. I think it's heavy on the level 4 charge, I think. I would have to check that. But it's actually got, I think, around 20 element, sitting around 320 raw. And it's pretty good. It's a pretty good bow. I can't complain about that failure because I contributed to it, so... It's stupid, but it's one of those days where we just get a bunch of failure for some fucking reason on a monster like Raging Brachydios. Wow. Anyway. Oh well. Yeah, it is a pretty good bow. Let's have a look at it. So, yep, I was dead on. So 320 raw, 20 element. That 30% affinity, I think, is, yep, that's my critical eye. It actually supports level 2 of both power and element, as well as level 1 for element. And it's pierce level 4 on the 3rd charge. Let's see what it is with load up. We're definitely changing to... It's Slowly's turn next, isn't it? Or is it... I feel like, we'll go player 4, we'll give that guy... Oh, sorry, I missed what you said, Bread Easers. Sorry about that. You're Peruvian. Yeah, no problem. Again, it's not always a good time zone for everyone. But, if you're able to watch the VODs, then that's great too. That's why I upload them to YouTube. Because, you know, there is a viewership there. There are at least a consistent 60 to 70 people who watch the VODs on YouTube. Sometimes as many as 100 and above, but there are at least 70 people who regularly jump onto the VODs because they can't watch live. Or maybe they watch live and want to watch it back or something. But yeah. I'm not going to leave those people out to dry. And I also like keeping the stuff on YouTube anyway. Let's check the load up for this bone. Let's go with that set. Load up is heavy level 5. As I was basically dead on with what I said about the weapon, surprisingly. Yeah, bow is a very nice weapon type. I love all the ranged weapon types, honestly. And I use what you describe as guild bow, because that's just bow to me. It really is nothing more than bow. Oh, Slowly left. Well, look, man. Well, I guess maybe it was his turn. I just can't remember. I feel like I needed to give Quinn a turn because he'd been there for a while, but anyway, whatever, Slowly. Sorry if I was wrong, and it really was your turn. I'm not going to be using this bow here, but yeah, bow of course originated in 2nd generation, and in my opinion it started off as a very good weapon type anyway. Like, some of the weapons in 2nd gen and 1st gen as well were really not all that good. For example, hammer started off in 1st gen as a weapon that couldn't even KO because KO didn't exist, and greatsword couldn't even charge, and things like that, you know. The weapons really started off in a very primitive form, but with the bow, it felt to me as if the spirit of bow that we still see to this day was very clearly expressed in its first introduction in the series. And I very much enjoy 2nd gen bow, and I continue to use it in 3rd gen. And naturally, by the time I got to 4th gen, I realised, well, it still hasn't changed all that much. They gave it R to shoot, gave it a power shot, but still feels very much the same. I switched to X to charge and shoot, because that's what I'm comfortable with. Most people wouldn't be comfortable with that, because it requires you to actually use the claw to be able to comfortably move the camera and your character while charging. But that's what's comfortable for me, from having learned mostly in 2nd gen to use the bow. But, yeah. In 4th gen, I just wanted to continue using it in the way that I was comfortable with, and in the way that I appreciated, so I don't really have time for styles that change the way the bow operates. Diloraptor, interesting. Interesting name. What are we hunting? Valstrax. About Greatsword. It's always worthwhile using an elemental weapon, provided it's not dragon, of course. What would I like? Yeah, let's use that. Lagia Supreme Thunder. May as well. I have 2 Thunder Greatswords that I use. I have 2 different sets for Greatsword. I use this one for this set, and I use the Kezu Greatsword for the other set. Don't ask me what the difference between the 2 sets are, because it boggles my mind, really. One of them's a Neset armor set. In fact, it was one of the last ones that I made. One of the last armor sets I made was a Neset armor set, because I was essentially abolishing that set. Boycotting it, we could say. But, yeah. I do still somewhat abolish that set. Personally abolish. Which is to say, I don't want anyone to use it. I think it sucks, and whatever. But as well as that, I prefer that to the new skill system that was proposed in 5th gen. So, I actually don't dislike it all that much. When I actually put it into perspective. If that's what it had to be, for some people to have access to good skills, because, you know, some people don't want to have to work for good armor sets. If that's what it had to be, then sure. But instead, they went further. They just couldn't help themselves, and they went and changed the skill system to what it was in 5th gens. I don't know. The Kezu Greatsword doesn't get 3 slots. I had forgotten it was even 2 slots, to be honest. But for Blademaster weapons, I usually don't rely on slots for the armor sets that I use with Blademaster weapons, because usually the way I approach Blademaster is I'll have an armor set for a weapon type, and then I will not have any slots on the weapon contribute to the skills of the set, unless it's something that can... Let's say, for example, I'm 3 points away from getting critical eye +2 on the set, and I happen to have a 2-slot weapon. Sure, I'll put an expert jewel 2 in there just to get critical eye +2. But that's kind of rare. And on top of that, that would not be a weapon-dependent set at that point. Weapon-dependent is when a key skill in your set can only be acquired through a weapon slot. The only sets that I do that with are gunner sets and super specific Blademaster sets that really are focused around one single weapon. But that's rare. It is mostly just gunner sets that I do that with. What game do I recommend if you started in Generation 5? What I would recommend is to go 1 generation backwards sequentially. Don't go from 5th to 3rd or from 5th to 2nd, because I think the jump would be too much. It wouldn't be too much for everyone, but because I don't really know you or your preferences or how flexible you are, I would recommend generally to go to Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. I wouldn't recommend this game because a lot of people play this game and they just can't help themselves. They have to use styles. They cannot help themselves, when they should instead be learning how to use the weapon with guild style first and then moving to styles. They instead use styles immediately and then sort of learn skills that can't be applied elsewhere in the series, which isn't what I would recommend. I don't necessarily think style shouldn't be used at all, but I do think you need a basis. I think you need to first learn how to use the weapon in its traditional way. So if you're willing to go only guild style until you're very comfortable using a weapon with guild style before moving on to maybe, you know, things like aerial and Valor and other such weapon types, then sure, you can play Generations Ultimate first, but I think it would be better to play 4 Ultimate because the temptation wouldn't be there. The reason why I would even consider recommending Generations Ultimate over 4 Ultimate is because it's easier to play Generations Ultimate than 4 Ultimate. 4 Ultimate is something you can emulate, but it's kind of hard to emulate, and I just don't like 3DS Monster Hunter. I don't dislike the games that are on 3DS, I dislike the fact that Monster Hunter was ever put on the 3DS, and I believe that it was a terrible mistake. I don't fault Capcom for doing it, because of course, Monster Hunter as a series belongs on portable systems in Japan. It's just how it always has been, at least since Monster Hunter Portable 2nd. But in the case of 3DS Monster Hunter, I can't really support it because I don't like the 3DS system. Maybe the 3DS system isn't all that bad, but I felt that it was a bit of a dinosaur for its time. And on top of that, it just was really awkward for Monster Hunter. Just terrible. But aside from the fact that it's 3DS and all that business, I would say 4 Ultimate is the better game if you were to compare it to Generations Ultimate. And that would be my impression. And obviously people have different things that they value, so they weigh the two games up differently on the scale, but for me I would say 4 Ultimate comes out as the best. There was a time when I would say that, look, I don't know which of the two that I prefer because it changes depending on the day. Like on any given day I might prefer Generations Ultimate to 4 Ultimate and vice versa, but I'm getting to the point now where I think I do prefer 4 Ultimate. There's just something about it. I think it's better. And I have issues with both games, I really do. I hate the deviant system of this game, and I hate the Guild Quest system of 4 Ultimate. So, you know, with any Monster Hunter game, I feel that there are compromises that need to be made. I feel that there will always be certain things that you won't appreciate. Let's say, for example, we talk about 3 Ultimate. Maybe you're not going to like the underwater combat. In fact, I don't really like the underwater combat all that much myself. I've warmed to it over time. I didn't like it when it was current and new, but now that it has become something of a novelty, something of a unique hallmark of 3rd generation, I actually have an appreciation for it. But, you know, for some people they're not going to appreciate it in that way. They're just going to see it as an uncomfortable way to play the game that they're sort of forced to do. So, yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't even... It was quite clear early on that the PS Vita was not going to do well. Of course, prior to launch you wouldn't know, and maybe in the first 2 weeks you wouldn't know. But it wouldn't have been more than a month or two before it became clear it was not going to work. And I don't know if it had been confirmed that there wasn't going to be a Monster Hunter on the PS Vita, but I do know that it was confirmed that there was going to be a 3DS Monster Hunter. And what I had in my head was that if Capcom's going the route of Nintendo, they're not going to go to Sony in the future for a PS Vita title. At least that's the way I felt at the time. So I certainly wasn't expecting a Monster Hunter game on the Vita. I felt that there should have been one, of course. You compare the Vita to the 3DS as Monster Hunter systems, I think it's quite clear which one's the best. There's no contest, actually. And I'm of the opinion that the only people who are going to be apologists for the 3DS as a Monster Hunter system are the people who started in 3DS Monster Hunter, who have become so desperately desensitized to how bad it is that they can't do anything except defend it. Which is a bit of a nasty opinion to have. I have a lot of those. A lot of nasty opinions that probably aren't all that pleasant, but yeah, that's how I feel about it. I think 3DS Monster Hunter is ugly, it feels bad, it looks bad, and it's almost like Nintendo, or Capcom in this case, were desperate to turn a really good game into a really shit one purely by putting it on a terrible system. That is so stupid, and that happens all the time. I'm looking up at the sky, seeing when to dive, and then I jump off something that I can't see, and I'm stuck in mid-air, unable to dive when he comes down. That happens all the time. You'd think it wouldn't, you'd think that would be super specific, like you just have to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, but it happens frequently enough to really cause issues for me. So, I mean, that exact scenario has happened to me at least 4 times versus Valstrax. So, that's enough times to really stick in your mind as a common occurrence. You'll notice that I'm avoiding the head because when he is enraged, he takes no elemental damage from the head. I don't know why, but that's the way he works. And of course, I'm having to use null berries here. Yeah, it's very important that you have a good second analog stick for Monster Hunter. In fact, I would go so far as to recommend that people use the actual add-on, the physical add-on, rather than using the new 3DS XL, for example. I don't know if the add-on can be used with an old 3DS XL. If it can be, then do that. Because that little directional nub on the new 3DS XL is so fucking shit. Because I used it, okay, I used it for about 450 hours for Ultimate before I transferred all my save data to PC, and I now play on the PC. But yeah, I used that for about 450 hours of Monster Hunter for Ultimate, and I can tell you right now, it is woeful. It is absolutely woeful. It is not sufficiently responsive for Monster Hunter play. It sucks. To get it to be more responsive to me, I would have to dig my thumbnail into it, so that I had more leverage. It was just so stupid. It was a terrible thing. Here I was, not wanting some ugly add-on to my 3DS, so I went with the new 3DS XL nub. And then in practice it turns out that I would have been better off having a second circle pad. So, yeah. Well, my opinion's Ice Walker for new players playing Generations Ultimate as their first Monster Hunter game is that I would really like it if they didn't use styles until they could learn the weapon in guild style first, but none of them ever do it. None of them ever do it. Very rarely you will have people do that, but because almost none of them ever do it, I would say that I wouldn't recommend Generations Ultimate as a first game for Monster Hunter players. Because there was a thing that people said back when Double Cross was new. The people who were playing Double Cross, in other words, the Japanese version of this game, Generations Ultimate, what people would say was that when you play Generations Ultimate, you actually become a worse Monster Hunter player. Now, why would people say that? The reason why is because you become reliant on systems like Valor and Adept and whatever else. In other words, you become so reliant on those systems that you start to forget how to hunt in the way you really should. And styles have really shown to be just a gimmick that they employed for this particular game, the high rank and G rank versions. So I just wouldn't recommend it. That's how I feel about it. And obviously people are entitled to their opinions, but that's how I look at it. And I don't even think that's a purist point of view, and the reason why is because it really is unique to this game. It's not like they kept with styles for the rest of the series. Then that would be a purist's point of view, I suppose, but again, I'm not saying don't ever use styles, I'm just saying wait until you've learned how to use the weapon properly first. Oh, okay, so the add-on circle pad was actually... There was one for the old 3DS XL. Well, in that case, if you have to play on 3DS, get an old 3DS XL with the circle pad add-on. That's going to be a much better experience. In fact, I wish I'd played like that. But here I was thinking that the new 3DS XL was the way. I had stalled on getting 4 Ultimate because I was so annoyed that it was on the 3DS. And when I eventually bit the bullet, the new 3DS XL was out. So I went and got that. No, stop dragon blighting me, shit! I've used 6 damn nullberries. Haven't performed too well in this hunt. Been too busy talking, really, but... Anyway. You guys are dragon blighted. Well, I hope you're not using element. I know... Jazz isn't, but is Quinn using element? No, he's not. He's using... Oh, he's using the old... That was the best raw sword and shield of Monster Hunter Freedom 1 and Monster Hunter G. It was called the Shining Wyvern Blade. It's a lovely sword and shield. And first generation is when sword and shield was at its strongest. In fact, it was overpowered in first generation. That's why it was so terribly nerfed in second gen. So, yeah, it's nice to see it in this game. It's still one of the best raw ones in this game, yeah, I'm sure it is. It's very funny to see the historic weapons returning. Not that they really went away, a lot of them didn't disappear, but it's good to see them as far into the future from first gen as Generations Ultimate, the last game of 4th gen. The same weapons are in the game, and oftentimes they still hold true as some of the better weapons of their class, even all these generations later. That's true as well. Yeah, 4 Ultimate is not locked at 30 FPS, but it's because of the variable frame rate that it's one of the harder games to emulate. Variable frame rate introduces all sorts of issues in emulation. But fortunately, emulation now is better than it was 2 years ago for the game. Considerably better. So, yeah. You might not need as good of a system now as you did back then. 2 to 3 years ago you needed a very good system. Well, not a very good system, a very good CPU, we'll say. We'll say, like, not necessarily top of the line, but getting there. Because it could only use a single core, and it just was awful. But, outside of that, I would recommend, outside of that, yes, proscribing the terrible jank, yes, I would recommend that you emulate Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate on the 3DS because, well, yeah. It's better to have it on your PC, I feel. I don't like it when my gaming experience is limited to this small system in my hand. It doesn't, or in my hands, I do have 2. You got a Mind Stone? Was it the Ruby Dragon Mind Stone or the other one? There are 2, both called Mind Stones. Oh, Juvenator got in. Hey, Juvenator. Well, we have a full viewer room now. So that's always good. Quinn posted that quest, didn't he? So I'll give Juvenator a turn. Juvenator, if you are listening, which I believe you are, you can post your quest. And then we'll go back to Jazz, and then Quinn, and then back to Juvenator. That's going to be the order in which we do this. If it doesn't feel like it's working for you, bread, there's almost no word that I can choose to refer to you that doesn't make me sound ridiculous, but if it doesn't seem to be working for you on PC, then give it a try on 3DS. Because at the end of the day, I would still, I think, ultimately recommend 4 Ultimate over Generations Ultimate. Grimclaw 10. Oh dear. You know how I feel about high rank quest, Juvenator, but we'll do it. We'll do it. Grimclaw 10. Yeah, and what Blue says as well is accurate when he says, save your hands the cramp. What he means to say is that 3DS is not in any way ergonomic, and it really isn't. It doesn't feel nice in the hands for long gaming sessions. It's not recommended. So, yeah, I used to get cramps like towards the end of my hand, like in my pinky finger and in that sort of area, because of just how you would hold the 3DS. Like I would use my pinky finger to support the 3DS, and it was just so strange. I mean, hand cramps, the likes of which, well, not actual cramps, that's quite a strong term. Let's say discomfort in the hands, that was just like nothing else you could ever have with any other thing you'd hold. It was just bizarre. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, the 3DS really was just a mess. Just a terrible mess. And look at what we get with the Switch. The Switch Lite is okay for portable gaming, but the regular Switch for portable gaming is shit. It's shit. It looks great. They fixed the problem about how it looked. You know, the 3D effect, even if you had it turned off on the 3DS, made it look like you were swimming in Vaseline. But at least the screen looks great on the Switch. But how damn heavy is it? It's so heavy in the hand, and really playing Monster Hunter on it feels super uncomfortable. Super uncomfortable. So, yeah. The Switch Lite probably fixes that issue. It would likely not be as heavy, and it's also a little smaller, so it would work better as a portable system, but god. If we're talking strictly portable gaming, Nintendo just hasn't been able to do it since the Game Boy, I guess. Well, I'd say the original Nintendo DS was pretty good for its time. I thought that was pretty good. But, yeah, Game Boy Advance was probably the last time Nintendo really nailed it. With the titles as well. What are we hunting again? Grimclaw. So, Thunder, I suppose. Unless Grimclaw isn't weak to Thunder, but I think he would be. What would I like to use? Let's go Longsword. Sorry, I know sometimes I get to talking and then, as a result, I don't end up setting up for the hunt. It seems like I'm not really holding anyone up, though. I'm not even the last to ready up myself. Looking for Exchanger again, which I've been struggling to acquire today. I think I've gotten it once, and I don't even know if I reaped the benefits of it. Might have failed that quest. Oh, okay. Let's try to grab. There it is. Exchanger. Good time for a voucher too. That had a wonderful... Of course, it would be... The one skill I wouldn't get would be Exchanger, wouldn't it? Assholes. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. Okay. I see how it is. Thank you for the follow, Emopok. If I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I could call you Emopok. But, yeah, thanks for the follow. Always appreciate that. I'm taking some nullberries. I forgot this was in the arena. Is this both at the same time? If it is, then smoke bombs are going to be needed. My guess is that it's going to be timed. I'm guessing that they can both appear at the same time, but the idea is that... Oh god. I'm just going to assume no one has smoke bombs. So... Well, maybe it is one at a time. It is only Grimclaw 10. Well, having said that, that was the highest level of generations, wasn't it? So maybe it is timed. My guess is that in 5 minutes, Tigrex will drop. So, as in regular Tigrex. So, yeah. Hopefully we can kill this guy in that time. I'm thinking we can. It's only high rank. Full G rank team, struggling with the high rank quest. Hopefully not. What are you doing? I've never fought Grimclaw in the, in an ice location. And I haven't fought much Grimclaw. I barely did any Deviant hunts in Generations. Getting caught here. You'll notice also that I'm not too comfortable with Grimclaw. I'm very comfortable with Tigrex, but Grimclaw moves in a way that I'm not too familiar with because I haven't fought him very much. Again, didn't let me dive there. Didn't give me a run-up. That gave me a run-up though. Oh, your full username is Emo Pokemon. Are you an emo Pokemon? Or, like, how does that work? Probably. That would be my guess. I suppose all Pokemon would be emos. They're all stuffed into little balls and used like roosters in a cockfight. I'd be pretty emo if that was how I was treated. Anyway. And some will say, well, it's not like cockfighting. The Pokemon trainers love their Pokemon. Well, I'm sure they love their cocks too, those old cockfighters. They love their cocks. Well, rightio. If you don't mind me saying, I didn't know emo still existed, to be completely honest. But good on you for keeping up the tradition, I suppose. Nothing wrong with putting them together. I don't know if it's worth carving, really. I don't think I will. Didn't get a Grimclaw tail or anything. He probably doesn't have his own tail drop. Well, I was definitely being a little bit silly, even for a moment, being concerned about this quest, and it seemed to not be timed. I mean, no, maybe that's not true. Maybe it can be timed, but the monster will automatically spawn as soon as the first one dies anyway. That's probably how that works. Can probably use Unhinged Spirit momentarily. Oh dear. What's the ping for? Maybe it was accidental. We are really helping out Juvenator by dancing away from the monster. There you go. Hopefully I'm not messing anyone up with my longsword combos. I'm in tri-longsword mode right now, where I just keep pressing R to win. This poor bastard's not going to last very long. Grimclaw was having a rough enough time on his own. Well, that was a good hunt, I suppose. Now I can go and carve the Grimclaw. I don't really... Well, not that I really want Grimclaw stuff either, but... I feel like I might possibly want these calves more than regular Tigrex calves. Probably. Yeah, we were definitely locking him down. But again, you would hope so, with a full G-rank team. Don't know why I'm getting a scalp from his back leg. Well, of course I know that where you carve doesn't make a difference to what you carve, but it is always funny to be carving, like physically carving the back leg, and you get a scalp. I'm thinking, what's going on there? Yeah, I've always had fairly long hair. I was never an emo or a goth, though, growing up. I just grew my hair long because I was into heavy metal, you know. And I keep my hair long to this day. Let's not forget you also had Scene. Remember Scene? Yeah. That's so funny. In high school, there was a guy in the year above me who was a Scene kid. And then, you know, he had the whole hair going, you know. And then one day he cut it all off. And by the time it grew back, I actually made good friends of him and got him into black metal, which was pretty funny. But yeah, I was like, I remember you. Here, high school is years 7 to 12, by the way. I had first seen him when I was in year 8, I think. Well, year 7 probably I first saw him. And by the time I was in year 10, I had befriended him. He had since cut his hair, and then he grew it long, but not in the Scene sort of way. And yeah, we just I would basically take him on metal adventures and show him all the metal that I enjoy that I thought he might enjoy. I mean, I've got a bit of a wide taste. Oh, Jazz, it is your turn to boast. The E-boys and E-girls, yeah. How much longer will I be streaming for? Hey, Vernon. I'd say another 30 minutes. Did you want to join, Vernon? Because if you do, then after Jazz posts, I might rotate him out. You're at work? Okay. I was going to rotate Jazz out if you did want to play, because he has been here the whole time. He's been here the longest, so I was going to have you come in his place, but that's fine. We'll keep with this team. But yeah, another 30 minutes or so. So 2 or 3 more hunts. Yeah, Jazz is a viewer. This is a full viewer team, in fact. Oh, okay. This will be your last one. Well, if anyone else is watching and would like to join... Bolt Reaver again! Oh, I understand you want Bolt Reaver, but my god. Well, whatever. Bolt Reaver G3. What is it, 2 Bolt Reaver? Probably. Yeah, Vernon, I was basically flooded in the chat today with people that I'd never seen before. It was kind of strange. Usually I'm just dealing with familiar faces, but today it was all a bunch of people I didn't know. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because it doesn't always have to be that way. Eventually I'll learn who they are over time, and there'll be new, consistent viewers. Hopefully. Can always hope for the best. I would like to use Sword and Shield, but I don't like the defense on this set. You can see it's 663, which is, you know, horrid. But anyway, same with Hammer, of course. I save Hammer and Sword and Shield for lower level quests. Let's do Gunlance. We'll do Elemental Gunlance, and we'll find my Ice Gunlance. What's my Ice Gunlance? Can I remember? It is the Zamtrios Gunlance. Megalominsa. Of course, referencing the Megalodon, the very large prehistoric shark. Okay. Should be good inventory-wise. Oh, you got Moonbreaker 3 from that quest. Interesting. No, that couldn't be right. You wouldn't get that from a Deviant quest, I don't think. So maybe you just mean generally you have recently acquired Moonbreaker 3. What should you call Rathalos and Raytheon? Just not Rat. the rats. Just, look. Usually, it's... Anyway, it's just cleaner than rat. Green rat, silver rat, gold rat. Anyway. I mean, you can just call them Raytheon and Rathalos, this is the thing, you don't have to shorten it, but if you want to shorten it, that's the way they do it. We could do the Mantis. Yeah, let's do that. You know what, let's do that. If you're happy to do Atulkar, we'll do it. And that should give you an indication, those of you who've watched me for a while, who know how I feel about Atulkar, will know that that means a lot. That I'd rather do Atulkar than another Bolt Reaver, but... Well, I don't hate Atulkar, it's just I'm sparing in my hunts of him, if you understand. I don't often do it, and the reason why is because I've been roped into hunting him quite a lot. So... What is my Thunder Gun Lance? I think it's laggy, isn't it? Yeah. Electro Laggier Gun Lance. The gloom of 1,001 nights, but okay. I wonder how many times I've done the event. That really threw me off. I was expecting Castle on the Run. I don't know how many times I've done the event, but it's good. I'd rather do the event, to be honest. We'll probably get slaughtered in the final stage of the fight, but... Maybe I should eat for insurance, then. You know what, I'm going to do that. Just in case. I don't want any failure. So I'm going to eat for insurance. Insurance and Supercarver, there you go. I love Bolt Reaver Astalos. I kiss him. Good to know, Juvenator. Do I? Well, I didn't get to see your Barrel Dual Blades, Juvenator, but I'm sure that they would have been good for the hunt. Yes. If I brought Pigeon that I wanted to hunt, well, I don't know what you're talking about, Vernon. You mean if you were referring to Pigeon, would I know what you're talking about? No. I would guess that Pigeon could refer to the most bird-like monster in the series, which is Malfestio. So, a Pigeon, if that is referring to Malfestio, then that would make sense, because Malfestio is basically a bird. But Rathalos and Raytheon are not rats. Like, they look nothing like rats. But I don't want to go on this discussion again with you. It's a very tired conversation by now. It's still funny, but God, it's probably getting monotonous by now. Oh, you call Kutku the Pigeon? Well, that works too. If you were calling him the Pigeon before 4th gen, which you no doubt were, then that's not a big deal. That's fine. Because he's a bird-like monster as well. I wouldn't know what the hell you're talking about, but, I mean, that makes more sense than rat. Pigeon. It's still pretty weird, actually. It's still pretty weird. Definitely a bird-like monster, but still a bit abstract. I'm not doing well already. I feel out of sorts with Gunlance in this particular game because I can't just do my Wyvern Fire right at the start. Why am I shooting up? Gonna blast dash you if you're gonna do that. Oh, of course you'd roar right then, you dick. This is one of those monsters that doesn't actually telegraph their roar. Just roars and you have to deal with it. Trying to get you there. What you pinging about, Jazz? You like pinging, don't you? Are you just a serial accidental pinger? Or do you ping for a specific reason? Oh, whoops. That probably wasn't a good course of action. Get away. Damn foot. Oh. I'm not having a good hunt today. I'm not hunting very well in general today, to be completely honest with you. I blame the fact that I'm sleep deprived. How about that? That's a good excuse. Oh, bugger it! Bugger it is what I meant to say. Alright, keep away from him and dive the fuck out of there. Just in case. Hello, Cavenator. Alright, so I'm going to have to avoid shelling here because otherwise I'll mess up my teammates. Oh my god, speaking of getting messed up. At this rate, I feel like shelling. But it is what it is. Yeah, I'm gonna shell, fuck it. Didn't end up messing him up, so don't have to feel bad about it. Well, I certainly wouldn't be expecting your average person to know what you're talking about when you say pink pigeon. I mean, maybe pink pigeon, but just pigeon isn't very clear. I'll sharpen up here. I call Raytheon Raytheon. As do I. Shut up. Maybe I should just be... Instead of extending my combo, I should just be going straight to the heavy shot. Because I often extend my combo with the upswing. Sort of in a habit of doing that. The defense down's not very good versus Event Adulkar. In fact, that's kind of horrid. More than kind of horrid, it's really bad. I'm the only one who still has defense down, apparently. I'd like to blast dash you if I can. There we go. And now I'm going to try and Wyvern Fire if I can. Come on. Can I get it off? No, 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 no. I hate you so much, you damn bug piece of shit. You know how long I've been fucking charging up that stupid thing? Asshole. Have some respect. Well, at least I've got Dragon Blast. What are you doing? Jazz has, well, he's got a full array of Naruto shouts. In case you wanted to know. Ooh. Shield that if I can. I couldn't, and I'll tell you why. I ran out of fucking stamina because I got flinched by... Well, no, I didn't get flinched, rather. I ended up blocking a teammate's attack. Which caused me to run out of stamina then. Quite foolishly, but anyway. This is a little bit annoying. I'll probably do my Dragon Blast once I get up to the top. I was blocking 3 teammates' attacks, yeah. Here I was, silly me, blocking an incoming attack from the monster, not realizing that actually what I had to be... Oh shit! I just got knocked off the fucking edge! I sort of helped there. Helped in knocking myself off. I didn't actually fall off there, but I went very close to the edge and got knocked off. Fuck me. Why do I bother? I should just do Dragon Blast now. So that I can charge it back up. God. I don't want to use it now because I feel like he's going to move. Oh, come on, at that angle. Get off me. Bloody hell. Now I can use Dragon Blast. Probably while fucking up my whole team, but you know what? You guys can live with that. Because you just knocked me the fuck off that monster, which I wasn't very much enjoying. Uh-oh, went a little bit too close to them there. Can we break it? Not even with Dragon Blast, come on. It's a little bit, Oh, we're at the final stage. That was not too bad, considering its event. This is where shit gets dangerous. I absolutely hate the fact that you can't see what you're doing that whole time. You can't skip that cinematic. Oh no, why did I do that? That was stupid. I've got that thing coming down. Alright, let's try to deal as much damage as we can. The sooner we can be done with this, the sooner we don't have to worry about being in serious shit. I have to watch to see what he's doing. I think it's safe. Yeah, this is the part of the hunt that I was worried about doing the event with. Because... Or this is the part of doing event Adulkar that had me worried. It was because this part of the fight is quite dangerous. Even non-event, it's kind of dangerous here. But with event damage, yeah, quite. There's another mount, that's pretty good. Jazz, you don't have to ping when you mount, it's not for ultimate. In 4 ultimate you would ping when you would mount just to make sure that no one would attack the monster. But in this game, attacking the monster doesn't actually cancel the mount, so... It's very strange to see someone pinging for the mount in this game. I'm getting deeply fucked right now. Thank you for repositioning, Quinn. Well, that was really a letdown, to be honest. I almost want to say that that event, Adulkar, did not have an increase in health. He only had an increase in damage. Because that was really quite quick. Alright, catch you later, Burn. Or Blue, I don't know what I'm calling you, but anyway. Thanks for joining. But yeah, that was really quite anticlimactic. I was expecting a much lengthier and more difficult hunt than that. And I felt like half the time I was just getting flinched. That's right. Makes the mount go faster if the team attacks the monster during the mount. Oh, someone hit the Dragonator. That's something you almost never see people use, actually. I don't attack the monster during the mount because I just like to keep away. I'd rather not get hit in the process of doing that. Because when the monster's jumping around, they become a little erratic and I just don't want to deal with it. And I'm also in the habit of how it was in 4 Ultimate, so I'd rather not lose that habit for when I go into 4 Ultimate, because the worst thing to do in 4 Ultimate is fuck up another person's mount by attacking the monster. Interestingly, I think attacking the monster during a mount does still deal full damage to the monster in 4 Ultimate. I got another iridescent carapace. That's 6 now. That's crazy. I used to really struggle to get those. Now I'm being showered with them, which is how it always is, isn't it? Any person in endgame will tell you. In endgame of any Monster Hunter. Thanks for joining, Gunzelina. Any person in any endgame Monster Hunter will tell you that they struggle to get the things that they need to make all their weapons and armor, and then once they're in the endgame, that's when it all comes. It all comes like a tidal wave. All the rare items that we used to struggle for are now being presented to us en masse. Hey Beta. Did you want to join? You've got a free slot. You are most certainly welcome. In terms of who's got the next turn, who was it again? Juvenator. You can post Juvenator. But yeah, I think I'll do... You know what, I will do 2 more hunts, if Beta's joining. You're in the middle of a testing hunt? Well... I'm probably only going to be live for another 2 more hunts, so... If you can't get in the meantime, then... It is what it is. Oh, Teostra. I'm actually in the middle of a Teostra hunt, is what you said, but you're auto-correcting. It's intense. Well, not so intense that you can't type, unless it's solo and you can pause. But yeah, by the sounds of it, we might not be able to hunt today, but that's alright. Another barrier off, except this one. Juvenator, let's do Hyper. Post the Hyper version. Because we'll probably get a 4th soon. Not necessarily a viewer, but likely just someone joining. But yeah, there's no real reason to do regular barrier off. What should I use? I guess dual blades. God, it's so annoying to have my status set totally out of commission for so long. Because it's just waiting for this stupid Meowster Hunter shit. There must be something that I need to do to get it to appear, or to get rare to appear in the Tundra in low rank and high rank, because I'm telling you, this has been about 100 hours of gameplay of me checking this, and it hasn't appeared. Not even once, when I have checked, has rare appeared in the Tundra for low rank and high rank, so there must be something that I need to do. All I need, Vernon, is one thing I need, and that is a disabler jewel. I had a status set in the past, but I changed it. And the set that I changed to requires another disabler jewel. In other words, status crit level 3 or whatever it is, like the level 3 jewel for status crit. So, yeah. There you go. Oh, I'm pretty sure he posted G rank. Jazz. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I need to equip my Wyvern Harmony. Serene has entered the hall. Yeah, that is definitely G rank. It's a very strange question to ask. Why don't you do G rank? Oh, what monster? Oh, exchanger! I found you, finally. Good day. Alright. Well, I'm ready whenever. Yeah, the disabler decoration. I'm trying to get this stupid, you know, one of the special items from Meowster Hunters or whatever. Anyway. I'll worry about it in the future. Oh. It is Jewel 2. I thought it was 3, but there is no level 3. It is the second one, yeah. Just if you're trying to look online for information, just check to see if there is something you need to do to get the Meowster Hunters to appear rare in the Tundra. Because it's been so damn long, I'm starting to think that there's something I need to do. No, it's not Pale Steak. It's the bug, I think. Could be Kumori or something. Well, unless I'm incorrect about Disabler being... Maybe it's not Disabler Jewel. I could be getting my name incorrect. You need the jewel that is status crit, whatever that is. So Disabler might not be that. But believe me, I confirmed it. There's if it's a point of confusion as to what's needed, then I'm not confused about that. I know what's needed, and unfortunately, I haven't been able to get the Meowster Hunters rare in the place where I need them to be. Anyway. Ugh. Chose the right time to dive, or not dive, but you know, evade. Fortunately. Serene's already dropping a trap, which is the right way to do it, really. Because it's not like you'll be waiting for an exhaustion versus a hyper monster. Yeah, Toxic Komoris. I was thinking it was Toxic Komori, but I wasn't sure if that was the name of it. And that's what I'm trying to get. Passively. I'm not actively trying to get it. I'm not like rotating through quests trying to get rare in the tundra or anything, but whenever I think to check, I check, and it's never rare. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be low rank or high rank, and both will give me Toxic Komori. That's a fucking shit show. Why am I... What a joke. It's just stupid. Yeah, whatever, Jan. You took a hit for that. We don't need 2 deaths because you're being silly. Anyway. I don't know what you mean by fixed 1, but it probably means that it's guaranteed. Like a guaranteed drop. How stupid of me to die there. Whatever. You just have to let go sometimes and just put up with it. Serene's having a bad time over there. And Jazz, okay. Don't leave, Serene. Thought she might be leaving the area. Yeah, that was bloody awful. I don't usually allow myself to die to this monster. You know, I say this as a Tri player, someone who played a game like Tri for so long, so all the monsters that appeared in Tri are monsters that I'm so damn comfortable with. And yet I'm dying to this guy. I'm stuck in that combo. Flinched him now. Oh no, I'm gonna get caught. Look at this. Oh, the combos are not to be trifled with. Drink the potion, dickhead. Don't know why you were choking on that. Unbelievable. That was 2 very dangerous situations. One resulted in my death, and the other one almost did. Fucking hell. I have to keep on top of my health, I think. Am I lacking defense? Oh, I'm lacking defense. 750, no wonder. That's why. I've got 750 defense versus a hyper monster. Well, I do wonder, Beta, because I feel like he just was a little far away from me there. I don't know if I actually dashed through that. I think I dashed away from it. That's iframes. Can barely see what I'm doing when he's against the wall like this. No, you fucking don't. Get away from me. He likes me today. Would really like to get that other wing. I can't follow him when he does that. Don't know why I'm struggling with that shit today. Again, I blame sleep deprivation. Fuck off. I've never been hit so much in a Barioth hunt in my life. Fuck off. It's starting to get on my nerves. Unbelievable. That's an interesting flash bomb. Funny that that worked. Oh, neither of the wings have been broken. Bloody hell. Well, I don't know which one I'm committing to, but I'll need to pick one. I've been hit so often that I've only just now charged Wolf's Maw. We're more than 5 minutes into the hunt. It took me that long to charge Wolf's Maw. How pathetic is that? Oh, that's good. Oh, whoops. Didn't realise I was... Well, I thought I was demonised. Clearly wasn't. It's just one of those days. One of those days. Okay, both wings are now broken. Yeah, whatever. Fuck you. I feel like every time I want to dash in a direction, I'm right up against a wall. Aiming for the legs with a hope that I'll get a knockdown. Didn't happen. Looking for whetstones. Again, I just need to make sure that I'm not... No, I might life powder that one. I'm just making sure that I'm not satisfied with blue sharpness because I've been playing a lot of Portable Third in recent days. And in a high rank game, you settle for blue sharpness. But you shouldn't in G rank, that's the point. So I need to make sure that I'm sharpening up from blue. Particularly if I'm starting with purple. Oh no. Oh my god. Now I'll be stuck in this bloodwind, doing nothing. Juvenator made the right decision going that way. Yeah, the wall jump attack was... it's pretty cool, I agree. I mean, it hasn't bothered me for a long time, but today it's fucking caused trouble. May as well aim for that tail. All breaks. I shouldn't have continued attacking. I knew that that wasn't the right thing to do, and look how much damage I'm taking. That's one of the reasons why I'm having so many problems right now. It's because my defense fucking sucks for hyper monsters. All of my sets that use the Hayabusa feather are just really shit with defense. It's just what it is. You substitute defense for attack. So, that's the way it is. You choose one over the other. Got someone trapping over there. Jazz obviously wanting to capture. I never like capturing hyper monsters. Just doesn't feel right. But he can if he wants to. I don't really care. Yeah, look at him trying to capture. Yeah, whatever. Look at that bow. Oh. Serene is just standing there, aghast that the monster has been captured. Oh. Anyway. Juvenator doesn't seem to be too happy about the capture either. In fact, it was your quest, wasn't it, Juvenator? Shit. At least I think it was. So it was unfair of him to just capture, assuming that you were okay with capturing. Oh dear. Anyway, I'll do one more hunt. One more hunt. God, my inventory is just being destroyed by that hunt. Sad as it is. Thank you for the follow, Blinded Fox. Well, there probably was a shark on my shoulder. It was probably sucking me on your screen. That's what the Zamites do. They're basically giggies, but sharks. It's really weird. Was I missing something else? I don't think so. Right, so I'll try to get you in, Beta. Jazz, you don't mind... That was Jazz's quest, wasn't it? Jazz, if you wouldn't mind rotating out, I'm only going to do one more quest anyway. I just want to get Beta Star into the room. That way she can at least do one hunt. Fixed one, 15%. Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming it's large toxic Komori that I need. I think it's the small ones that I've done in the past. But yeah, I mean, I can check again to see if I've got rare in the tundra. Whoops. Man standards, nope. See, how the fuck do I get it there? I don't understand. Jazz, are you able to leave, please? Thank you. So you now have an open spot, Beta. And again, I'm only doing one more hunt, and then I'll be done. Hopefully Serene doesn't leave or anything. I don't know where I get rare, actually. What would... Yeah, you can post Juvenator. I've lost track of the order now. I'll let Juvenator post. Well, I think it's just regular toxic Komori then, isn't it? Okay. See what we've got on the board for my last quest. For Jewel 2 it requires large. I'll have to work out what I need then. Because I know that I confirmed that what I needed was something that I could acquire from low rank and high rank. I specifically saw that in whatever information I was referring to. So... yeah. I need to get on top of that. I have been unable to use a status set for a long time. No. Oh, Astalos. I'm really sorry, Juvenator. Could we please do something that's not Astalos? I normally wouldn't say this, but I've done like 4 Bolt Reaver, or 3 Bolt Reaver Astalos. It was going to be 4. But I've done so much Bolt Reaver in this recording that I just need something different. So... sorry. Oh, I see. That's a good point. I see rare for all the areas, but the only difference between our files, outside of you having cleared way more quests than me, is that I have cleared all the Palico quests. Oh my god. So I have to do Palico quests to unlock a rare option for the Meowster Hunters, which makes sense, doesn't it? Holy shit. But yeah. Juvenator, you don't want to do Hyper? We've got a full G rank team. I feel like we may as well do Hyper, because if you're trying to get Zenoga materials, then you're going to need Hyper stuff eventually, so... if we've got a full G rank team here ready to go, then I think Hyper would be best. Just for your sake. What would I like to use? Greatsword. What's my ice greatsword? Kushala Dayora. I could actually use the Teostra Greatsword for a change. Should I? No, I really do feel like using the correct element for this monster in particular. Here we go. Daora's Deathmaker. Ooh, Deathmaker. He's going to make the monster dead with the Daora's Deathmaker. Why do you keep calling him Data or her Data? It's Beta. Bloody hell. Well, this is the thing, Vernon. This is the thing. I don't know if I even want to do anymore. Like, again, let's look here. I've kept my Palico uses down to 3. 3 is actually too much, because I've only intended on doing a Prowler quest once. The other 2 were done under duress. So, well, technically under duress. But, yeah. I feel like I would die inside if I were to use a Prowler. But, anyway. If I can complete one quest, if there is one quest that I can do to get rare in the Tundra in high rank, I will do that quest. But if I require the completing of multiple, or the completion of multiple Palico quests to do that, I might have to make a new set. Because I just don't want to bother with Prowlers at all. Just don't want to bother with them. Just got a new subscriber on YouTube, Chase Valentine, with an old 90s anime profile picture. Wish I knew the show. Alright, let's ready up. I think I managed to get Exchanger again, which is good. Hopefully it's not too dark on the webcam. Might be a little bit. Yeah, it's a little dark, isn't it? I'll boost the brightness just a touch for our last quest. There we go. Alrighty. So, what is our objective, Zenoga? So, Area 5. Well, you're probably right about it then, really. I wouldn't doubt that you're correct. It is true that those are the two things that are... Well, that is the one thing, rather, that is different between our two saves. It is the fact that you've done all the Palico stuff and I haven't. So... yeah. I mean, it is such an insult that I'm required to do that, but... yeah. All I can say is I've acquired the Kumoris before. So I don't know. Or maybe I've just needed them before I never got them, I'm not sure. Feels good to use Greatsword, actually. Should have used more Greatsword today. I've been using crap like Gunlance and... ugh. Not a Gunlance fan. Oh, I was hoping you'd go into a charge. God, today is not my day. I don't know if I'm being extra critical of myself or if I'm actually sucking. I think I'm actually sucking. I'm pretty sure. I was really hoping for a flinch there. There we go. Alright, well I'll have to look into it then, but I think you are right. Because if you think about it, Meowster hunters relate to Palicos, so you're definitely not pulling it out of your ass. I think that's a pretty good theory. There's a nice view from the side of whatever that hunter art was. Forgot what it's called now. It's been a long time since I've used it, but yeah, it's a pretty good one. I didn't always like it though because I would oftentimes mess up the positioning for it. Like you have to have a very, an almost flat surface, really defined flat surface for it to actually make contact with the enemy. I don't know why. Oh, that's asleep. Which is probably going to be interrupted. Oh no. That's always good. No, don't you dare detonate like that. Don't you dare. Ugh. Makes me angry when people do that. Hopefully, Serene didn't mess up the sleep in the end, even though I had detonated first. I hope not, but anyway. I'll have to settle for level 1 here. Just wanted to get the attack right on the head. Oh, Serene just took a heavy hit. Well. Settling for level 2. Likely would have dealt the damage there by way of lag compensation. Aha. Now, I was doing combo greatsword there because I was trying to do Moonbreaker, but it wasn't allowing me to, so I was just stupidly doing combo greatsword. Ugh. That's a mount. Does the Zenogre seem glitchy to me? No. I don't think so. Not that I've seen. What's glitchy about him? Is he cancelling animations or something? I haven't really noticed anything. Oh, issues on your end, okay. Wouldn't be the first time now, would it? It wouldn't just be the Zenogre, it would be the whole game that was looking glitchy. It was moving weird like there's lag. I haven't noticed anything. It's possible. But yeah, it wouldn't just be the Zenogre being affected by your Twitch issues, it would be the whole video. You'd be seeing my character jittery, you'd be seeing my webcam view jittery. That would likely affect the audio as well, like the whole thing, so... I don't know. Could be the fact that... It could be the case that Zenogre is actually glitching around and I haven't noticed. How I couldn't notice, I'm not too sure. That was a very nice attack you just did there, babe. Oh, I was hoping for a charge. That's why I did that. I mean, otherwise it would be way too aggressive and foolish to do what I just did, but I thought he was going into a charge. I'm not going to sharpen up to purple. This is Generations Ultimate. They've nerfed purple sharpness. Aha, that's exactly what I was hoping for. I wanted to do a draw attack on the face while I had an opportunity, and he turned into it. Which was perfect. Alright. Well... I'll just make sure that it's not universal, then. So I will watch the play. I'll wait a second for you. Ah, goody. Good old buff. But yeah, I'll watch the playback on my laptop. Not that it's guaranteed to be smooth on my laptop either. My laptop sucks. Seems to be alright though. I'm going to make the foolish mistake of watching the playback instead of watching the game. It's looking alright though. Haven't seen any real issues. Oh, it's so confusing to watch the playback. Yeah, not seeing any issues. Yeah, looking smooth as can be. So it is certainly on your end. If my shitty laptop's not having issues, then yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I don't think it's an issue with your eyes. That's going a bit far. I wouldn't assume that you've got issues with your eyes. I'm sure there's just some weird reason. It must be internet related. That's all I can surmise. That's the biggest variable here on Twitch. It is internet. And at the end of the day, I am streaming from a location quite far from where you are, so you know. It might be delivered to you in a strange way, connection-wise, I'm not sure. You have very bad eyes, so bad that the movements of a monster would appear jittery. I don't know about that. That sounds a bit extreme. It's possible, I suppose, but anyway. It's happened before, well, I'm sorry to hear that. But I suppose it's possible. Might try to brimstone slash, hopefully someone hits me. I think the gunner's... Oh. Well, looks like I'll be able to get it out anyway. Goody. It's good to be hit by a teammate with brimstone slash because it powers it up and allows you to drop the sword down faster. Might carve that tail, why not? I'll grab the shiny first though because that might disappear. It's so nice to see Jaggy in this area. It's just nice to be in this area in general. I have fond memories of coming in to try for the first time with eyes of wonder at this brand new Monster Hunter game. And just killing Jaggy for fun in this area. It was really good. I had a lot of fun. Because I was almost hypnotized by the fact that it actually kept count of how many monsters I'd killed of each type. In the Moga Village log, I just loved that. Even little simple things like that were amazing from someone who had started in 2nd gen. Try was a real good time. You figured out the issue. So it's not your eyes. Oh, your monitor's jittering. Well, that makes sense, yeah. Either a bad refresh rate or... can't be below 30 Hz. It's obviously a monitor issue in general, not to do with refresh rate. Yeah, that was a reasonable hunt. Actually, it was pretty good, now that I think about it. Liking the jacket, beta. Glad to hear your eyes are fine. I'm shocked that you're still awake, Hossein. What the hell, isn't it like 4 in the morning where you were? Or getting there, at least. Well, you'll be able to get some sleep anyway, hopefully. Because that was the last hunt for me. Ocean Pyrazine. Which is actually not a bad item. It's not a rare, but it's not bad. 440. What the hell? You're a vampire or something. Well, the vampires enjoy my stuff the most because... well, you must be in Europe or something. Yeah, you must be in Europe. Or somewhere around there. Well, again, I say Europe as a... there's no guarantee you're in Europe, but you're definitely not in the US, I can tell you that. What did you miss? Nothing really, Exio. That was the last hunt. Well, I guess you technically missed... I don't even know when you left, but anyway. Just did a Hyper Zenoga for the last hunt. And, yeah. You are in North America? That's weird. Well, there you go. I guess it's very late in certain parts of North America. But, oh, North Africa, I misread that. Shit. North Africa, that's interesting. But it makes sense. I knew it wasn't America. I love how I read that as America, that's ridiculous. You left 40 minutes ago? Well, I'm not going to give you a little update on exactly what you missed, but I will say that was my last hunt. And I do thank you all for joining me for this live stream, and thank you for everyone who joined me in-game. I will see you all next time. I probably won't do Monster Hunter tomorrow. I don't know what I'll do tomorrow, actually. I might do either Zelda the Minish Cap or Castlevania. We'll see. But I will see you at that time, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye.